Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Themis and Thoth. Grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking, go and get that. I was considering whether or not I should go live. I turned on my light. I was considering what I was considering whether or not I should go live. And the reason is what we're about to watch. Hopefully, if you're on this channel, you already know that anti-feminists are liars, and liars in the way that they misrepresent, mislead, omit, do not engage with facts at all, and they are not they're just not honest people. Like, they're just not honest people. And I think we know that. And so the question I had to ask fundamentally is, who is this for? Like, should I do this video? And I think it's for anyone who comes across this, who is not already a part of the community, one. And two, it's for people who want to break down these kinds of engagement to fully understand what is happening. And so I decided that before I go out tonight, which I am going out tonight, it is too cold to be going out, but my friends conned me. They called me and said, "Hey, you said you were coming out yesterday." I screen grabbed the message that said I might go out. And they're like, "You don't want to come out with us ever?" And the truth is, whenever I go out, it feels like I need to perform. So I'm like, no, I don't want to go out. But so I said I would go out the next time they decide to go out, thinking because they went out yesterday, I'm safe tonight. And they're like, "Okay, cool, we're going out tonight." So apparently I'm going to have to be out in these streets. Anywho, I do think my Carmex, I got a new Carmex, and I think there is a tint. It feels like there's a tint on there. And I literally got this because I thought there wasn't be a tint. So I don't understand. Anyway, it don't matter. You all don't care. But it feels like there's a tint, or maybe it's a count. I don't know. So it looks like there's a tint happening. So grab your coffee, water, tea. I'm drinking coffee because I need it to stay up if I'm about to be out in these streets in this cold. So grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking, go and get that, and let's watch this video together. This will not be a members only live, so I will try to be as respectful, kind, calm, collective, intellectual as I can, knowing I don't want to be, because I already know. I've not seen this video yet. I saw part one. We watched part one together, but I already know it's about to be some mess. So grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking, go and get that, and let's get into the video. Whoa. I remember them days. Now I'm tired of thinking about, if thinking about being out in the weather. Right, I'm already tired. We know that's a hard ask for you, Themis. All right, so let's watch this together. Kick your foot up. If you are not here today, that's okay. We will come back tomorrow. When you come back tomorrow, there will be a video. All right.
Rather serve capitalism than serve your man, the man that was put here to protect you.
Yeah, but does your man make enough money so that you don't have to work? This is my thing. If we're talking about family units, these are two people. They get to decide what happens in their unit. And reality is, some men are not going to be able to provide all that they can. talk about pressure. I feel like feminism was good for men because it kind of relieved them of a little bit of
It
pressure.
lifted everybody up.
Yeah,
It
but
really
it's
did.
made men so much more depressed than ever. It's made them weaker.
I think they just don't like the fact that now they see, oh, women can be as good as us because now that we're allowed to have all these rights,
have to talk to a
we're
man?
graduating
Why do you
from
have to
college
be
more
as
than
good
they
as
are now.
men? Why do you have to be?
Because we live in their world.
This conversation is often reduced to labels. In this episode of The Bridge, feminist and anti-feminist women sit face to face to explore where their beliefs about womanhood, equality, and freedom align, and where they don't. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Daff. Welcome to The Bridge. Only women should make laws about women's bodies. No. Yes. Not sure. Okay. You haven't spoken much. Go ahead.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think that if we want women to be able to vote on things like the draft, which affects men, which I don't think should exist, then I think that, it's not a per se men's or women's issue. It's a human right.
I know it feels good to say that only women should make laws about women's bodies, but that's like a dumb take. Like, I understand when women say it, like, I'm just like, okay, period. But like, in truth, like, hopefully it's a rallying cry about abortion specifically. But like, when we talk about medical access, when we talk about disclosure of medical information, right? Like, if you're a human being, then both men and women will be negotiating rules around bodies and healthcare, right? So, what are these rules, and specifically in what area? Like, you have to be very precise if you're going to quote unquote exclude a gender from the rulemaking process more generally when it comes to access to healthcare. I get that a lot of women say it, but in my mind, women don't actually mean it in the way that men say a bunch of stuff that they don't mean when you're like, men should not make laws on women's bodies. My interpretation of that is generally men by themselves who know nothing about women's bodies should not be making rules around women's bodies, right? Because like in the same way I wouldn't say women should not make rules about men's bodies. It's general rules that apply to both men and women would be created by men or women, preferably men and women who are informed. So the only women should make laws about women's bodies. It's an exaggerated means of communicating how women have historically not been able to make rules about their own bodies, and how women's bodies have been controlled, right, commodified, used, discarded by men, right? I think that's what is trying to be communicated when people say women should make rules about their body. It's pointing out the exclusion of women in the rulemaking process around women's bodies, and particularly abortion. That's my interpretation of what happens. So glasses, I'm with glasses right now.
Issue. It's an equality issue. I think that conversations about like who should be able to vote on abortion or something like that is like, I think a lot of people on my side fail to see that there is a genuine concern with people who are pro-life because they do believe that.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm gonna cut her off. I don't believe her. I do not believe the concern about fetus is genuine. I do not believe the concerns about a zygote is genuine. I think they're all lying. So I was with glasses up until she's trying to attribute good faith to the anti-abortion side. They are not genuine. They are not genuine at all. They are liars. A lot of the anti-abortion people want to punish women. Others want to force you into their dusty religious paradigm that you don't even ascribe. Like you don't know. You did not agree to be in and under the rule of their dusty religion. So if you in your religion cannot have an abortion, that sounds like a you and your religion problem. Stop trying to make that everyone else's problem. I do not believe it is a genuine concern for people who are anti-abortion. Now, I will say that that is a general statement, and maybe there are people who are genuinely concerned about the life. I ain't met them. I ain't never seen them. I've never seen them debate. I've never debate with them. I don't see it anywhere. So I'm just going to go ahead and say they don't exist until someone can prove that they exist. You need to prove the existence. I guess I'm making a positive claim also by saying they don't exist. So let me rephrase that. I don't know if they exist. I ain't seen them yet.
The fetus is valuable, that it's similar to a baby. And I think if you have a serious issue like that, then I think all people should be able to vote on that. I don't know why it would be exclusive to like women particularly.
I'm going to say something controversial, but I think that men should step in a little bit more when it comes to laws, even more now, because like they were saying, like women are emotionally led. That's
Okay, I'm glad I was muted. I'm glad I was muted because I need to keep this public. I do need to keep this public. Rephrasing nicer. Are you dumb? Men need to step in more because women are emotionally led. You do know that men are causing most of the wars that we're in, right? You do know that men lead in terms of homicide, both perpetrator of homicide and victims of homicide, right? I'm talking about murder, manslaughter, I'm abuse in pretty much every realm is led by men. The idea that women are too emotional, so men need to come in and control their bodies is wild. The thing is, I don't believe they believe what they're saying. I do not because if you're saying men are the leaders in the way that they are less emotional and they make better decisions, you cannot believe that and then also believe men are suffering, men need help, men are unaliving themselves too much. Like you can't believe all of the things that you ascribe to manhood and masculinity in terms of logic and leadership while also pretending that they're useless and desperate and need you to submit and lift them up. Like that's weird.
what I believe. I believe, like right there.
I can laugh.
Well, it's just like, it's just.
Also, yes, I'm gonna laugh at you because you were the same person who said, I know you're coming with stats, but your stats conflict with my religion. That's the girl that said it. That is the girl that said it. She said that she's not going to engage with the statistics because the statistics conflict with her religion. So what else do you tell someone like that to go in the corner by themselves? Hey, so Laura, you tell doctor, you tell someone like that to go in a corner by themselves and go talk to their God. That's what you tell them.
It's like so many reactions constantly. Yeah, it's emotions. Like men feel their emotions, but they can also conduct themselves. At least when I'm in rooms with them.
Are you dumb? Who perpetuate most harm to women, including RAPE? Men know how to conduct themselves when they're emotional. Really? Because the homicide rate, the murder rate, the literally every violent crime rate has men at the pinnacle of perpetrating. So it is weird to sit up here and say that men know how to conduct themselves when they're emotional. Again, I will keep repeating this. A lot of these women who are anti-feminist, okay, to be feminist is to understand the world and actively engage in the world and understand that you need to play a part in removing subjugation of women. To be anti-feminist is to be a liar, right? Now, there are people who don't consider themselves feminists but aren't anti-feminist. Those people generally are rich and they can go through the world without ever engaging in the kind of oppression. I mean, they will feel it, but they can inculcate themselves in a way that other people without money cannot, right? And they're probably terrible people. But also, there are those people who are working so much that they don't have time to think about system, patriarchy, anything like that. And I have a lot of grace and empathy for those people, right? It doesn't mean you're bad or good. However, if you are overtly anti-feminist, you're a terrible person. It is that simple. Yeah. If you're anti-feminist, you're a terrible person. When you say you're anti-feminist, what you're saying is that you're against women's rights, generally, including the right to vote. And if you want to have back and forth with me, we can. Now you need to define what kind of feminism you're against, and we can have the conversation. But if you just generally make a statement that I'm anti-feminist, you're probably a trash person, actually. You are. You probably are. Most likely are.
Yeah, but I will agree with the violence, right? But I also say that women,
Then you cannot say men know how to control their emotions more than women, and then agree with the violence part, that men perpetuate violence more than women. But then you're saying men know how to control themselves when they're emotional more than women. Are you dumb? That is a stupid statement. That is a stupid, like, even within your own worldview, what you're saying does not make sense. You cannot agree that men perpetuate the most harm in terms of violence, and then you sit up there and say, but they know how to control themselves better than women. The person killing you is actually the person who is not able to control themselves. The point blank period. The person who is engaging in the kind of rage when you reject them, unaliving you because you reject them, is the person that cannot control themselves. You cannot agree on one hand that men perpetuate violence and then say they are able to control themselves better and know how to conduct themselves better when they're emotional. When whole area of law, like the crime of passion, right, was born out of the idea that men can control themselves. The idea that a man would come home or find that a woman is cheating on her and then kill that woman, change murder to manslaughter, highlighting even in the law, the legal framework, highlighting the idea that men do not know, we do not know how to control ourselves. That is what that says. And instead of punishing men harshly for unaliving people when they're emotional, the law actually adjusts for this emotional outburst that leads to killing by reducing the sentencing, reducing the kind of punishment, the kind of crime that is committed. So instead of murder in the first degree, oh, now we're at manslaughter. If that does not tell you what the law sees when it looks at men versus women, I don't know what to tell you. Someone said, maybe she didn't know what violence is definition wise.
they're making decisions on, I'll even go away from the abortion topic, lip fillers. We see women from the media, they're getting injections everywhere, BBLs, they're putting their life on the line to get BBLs because that's the, the propaganda or whatever they're putting out there. And so
You want to know what sucks? That the feminists, all but one, are articulating points and position using statistics and like actual sentences. And the anti-feminists cannot even speak in complete sentences. I don't know what this woman is talking about. So now men should be able to control women's ability to get lip fillers and BBLs. When you say men should step in because women don't make good decisions and women are too emotional and men are better at operating even when emotional, even though they're killing everyone. When you give the examples of getting lip fillers and BBLs, is the argument there that men should be able to prevent women from getting lip fillers? And like, it's not even like she's articulating her position in a way that makes sense. It's just disjointed. It's like stream of consciousness. And like, obviously you're talking. So like, there's some times where you lose your train of thought, and there is some level of word vomiting happening, and you can factor for that. You can forgive some of that. But literally every sentence is a discombobulated mess. Maybe Trump turned the discombobulator on her. Women like her like patriarchy because they get to be low vibrational version of what a woman is. That they don't want accountability. They don't want growth. Right. And I think there are women who believe themselves, particularly if you are a biracial woman, and I apologize, it's not all biracial women, but particularly if you have a certain aesthetic within the Black community, being praised for that aesthetic and being told that you can be taken care of, right? And there are the two women on the screen right now, they're going to do well among Black men. Now, they're getting the same Black men, so it is what it is. Like, when I say do well, just accept it as a financial status kind of thing, because they're getting TVs, they're not getting a better man. Like, it's not happening. Statistically, it's not happening. But their access to richer men is something due to colorism that they benefit from, right? And so while they can sit up there and say, I don't like feminism, I prefer to be a submissive wife for a man to take care of me, what they completely ignore is that even if we accept this, what happens to women who cannot find that, right? Your ability to live a good life and provide for yourself should not be predicated on whether a man is attracted to you. And if you can get by a man being attracted to you, good on you. I'm with you, girl. Go do it. Dip it and do it. But to condemn other women who cannot find a man to provide for them to a life of servitude is absolutely insane to me. And this is not even to talk about the women who just want choice, regardless of their access to men, right? To rich men. Like, regardless of that, I'm talking about the women who you believe cannot have access to these colorist men.
I think that men should step in a little bit more to protect us. Like, yeah, you can make
the men who are harming you, abusing you, killing you, you are telling them that they need to step in to protect y'all from getting lip fillers. You want the men who are analyzing you to step in more. One of the things I hate about content creators, by the way, Zazie333, I wanted to say thank you. I hate content creators that are so captured by their audience that they can't even be reasonable. You know, those content creators who have to stick to talking points because they're in a bubble and they don't control that bubble. Even though they have a platform, it's not them. It is the people in their channel who control them and what they say, right? They have to feed their audience the red meat that their audience wants at all times. I hate when those people go on panels because they're liars, they're very deceptive, and they don't engage in good faith. And when you're trying to have a discussion, they will never concede anything because they're kind of useless in terms of intellectual capacity, right? There is no academic rigor, there's no intellectual rigor, there's no rational thinking going on upstairs. It's just kind of empty, but for the talking points that they have to stick to. And it's incoherent. And in its incoherence, the sentence coming out of their mouth does not make sense to anyone with a brain.
Decision to go out there and alter your whole body, but at the end of the day, those women are putting their life on the line to do that. So that's why I say I think our men should actually step in more when they see that we're destroying ourselves. Like in that.
Okay, fine. Let's do it. Men should step in more when women are destroying themselves. Should women step in more when men are destroying themselves? Because y'all talk about the unaliving rate, the self-unaliving rate, the homicide rate, the depression rate for men. Should women step in and control those men because they can control themselves and they're unaliving themselves? No, no, mm-mm. Just the women. Just the women need control. From our man's, from your man's girl.
Sense. And that's just kind of one example I want to give.
Maggie, you made a face.
Oh, I made a face because I was talking earlier. I do agree. You should let people fail fantastically if they want to. Sometimes people have to hit rock bottom, and I say let them. And I think that's how some people have to learn, unfortunately.
She's so annoying, but I don't disagree. You let people do what they want with their lives, and if they succeed or fail, it's on them. Period. But she's just framing the choice to do what you want as an inevitable failure, right? And it's a dusty talking point from an anti-feminist that is absolutely useless and devoid of meaning. But the general statement about people being able to have choice, even if that means they make the bad choices, they should have it, period. Down for that.
Unfortunately.
The reason
Which means she literally added nothing to the convo. And this girl, the one that's about to talk, she I just don't know why they let her. I mean, she's a feminist, but I don't know why she's there. And I don't mean to be mean. She seemed like a sweet girl, honestly. Like, she does seem like a really sweet girl, but like, ain't nobody got time.
I'm saying women should have more of a say on our bodies than men is just if we look.
Okay, see, that's the annoying. I would have. This is why I can't. By the way, this is the bait of my existence. This is the issue in my real life, right here. I have a tendency to stop you mid conversation when you're talking, particularly if we're arguing or debating about anything. If you're not being responsive, we are not continuing. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about none of that. Like, we can talk about your feelings afterwards, or you can say, let's check out of this conversation and address the fact that I'm hurt or I'm feeling something. But you're not about to change the topic just because you can't argue the topic. The question says, only the prompt, only women should make laws about women's body. Only women should make laws about women's body. That is the prompt. When you start your sentence, mind you, she's on my side of the aisle. When you start off your sentence by saying it should be mostly women, then you already answered the prompt and you don't think it should be only women. I don't care what you got to say after that. I actually don't care what. If you're not going to answer the prompt, let me go back. Listen to how the thing says only women should make laws about women's body. It's an absolute statement. It is absolute. So you changing it in any way means that you are saying some men can, but majority women should. Okay, so you don't believe only women. Next case. Ugh.
Do agree. You should let people fail fantastically if they want to. Sometimes people have to hit rock bottom, and I say let them. And I think that's how some people have to learn, unfortunately.
The reason I'm saying women should have more of a say on our bodies than men is.
The reason I say women should have more of a say, you saying more means that you don't think it should only be women. Your answer is that not only women. You think men and women should have a say, but women should have more of a say. That is completely different than saying only women. Are you just not going to, you're not going to engage with the prompt at all? And no, that is not an engagement with the prompt. Because you said only women. You raise your panel to say only women, and then you are changing it to mostly women. Please get out of my face. Ugh. Can't even stay on topic to save your life.
It's just, if we look at history, men have had the only say on our bodies. They used to perform like gynecological operations on us in a room, a theater they called it, with just men. And like, can you imagine being a woman, going under procedure, you're strapped to a table, and there's just a theater of men, and there's not a single woman in there dictating whether or not this is a good thing that should be happening. Like, we didn't have a say. We should have a say. We haven't had a say. We should. We haven't.
I think, so one of the
I agree with her assessment of history, by the way, period. But stick to the prompt, please.
things that I take kind of with this romanticization of the past is if you look between the 1950s and now, almost every single marker of flourishing is up as women entered the workplace, as women entered policymaking. It turns out that all Western liberal democracies have given more agency to women, and they have consistently outperformed other countries that don't do this. And there's a reason for this, right? Which is that we're always better together. We're always better together. This idea that men are more logical than women, it just like, the reality is like the emotional landscape is like way more complicated than that. And good, wise decisions usually include emotions anyways, right? So men being less emotional would be bad for wisdom. And I don't think that men are less emotional. I think they're the same. And so every marker of flourishing has improved. I guess, what would your rebut to that?
Period. Okay, I do like that. I like that a lot. Even though her voice bores me and I like usually check out when she talks, but I actually fully agree with her. And I do like the fact that she points out that societies that gives women rights tend to thrive, at least comparatively, right? And you compare that to the societies where women are dominated in a way that does not allow for them to work, I don't know, wear jeans, skirts or whatever, right? Like societies that allow women to engage meaningfully in the economy and political life do better than other societies. And we're talking about GDP. We can talk about like happiness and all of that, but something that's easily measurable. Let's do GDP.
I think that they feel emotions.
She's not gonna respond. After Corset was out here giving what needed to be gave, this girl not going to respond. And why is she the spokesperson for the anti-feminist? She's literally the least qualified. Well, they're all equally unqualified, actually.
I think what I've noticed is that they're not so emotionally reactive, unless if we look at the studies of like men that are in prison, they usually come from single mothers, from what I've seen.
Okay, so men are emotional because they come from single mothers. So men are emotional. So you try to blame. So you're like, oh, is it in their nature or not? Because if you're saying men who come from single mother homes are emotional, it sounds like there's an environmental factor to being emotional. Therefore, women can learn to not be emotional. Mind you, I reject the premise that men are not emotional and women are. But based on her, that's the reality. She's trying to blame single mothers for men being in prison, right? Okay, girl, I'll take your logic. I'll take your stand. Single mother cause men to be. That means that it's not intrinsic, or at least it's not biological. And even if it is, that society, socialization, acculturation can actually inform how a person acts and react emotionally, right? That is what you're saying when you're blaming single mothers for men's behavior. You are saying that men can change their behavior based on their environment. What you don't do, which you should, is take it the next step further and say, oh, well, I guess women can also change their behavior based on society, acculturation, socialization, right? You need to take that step. You cannot talk about the intrinsic nature of men and the intrinsic nature of women being logical versus emotional and then say that there are men who are emotional and thus in prison because of single mothers. Because what you're doing is you're removing the intrinsic biological aspect, the gender essentialist argument that you were making initially. You completely remove that and you do socialization. And when you do socialization as the reason for men going to prison, you then articulate that being emotional or not being emotional is a social issue. It is about upbringing. And if that is true, then it sounds like both men and women can be emotional based on your logic. But what she does, and I don't expect the anti-feminists to do this kind of thinking, is one conclusion that you draw in your worldview and another conclusion that you draw in your worldview needs to fit. And if they don't fit, you have a problem. And these women are not engaging in the deep analytical thinking to kind of structure a worldview that makes sense. Yeah, well, the thing is, I'm not even arguing her point. Like, I'm not, oh, absent father, society, whatever. No, 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 no. I'm not arguing her point. I'm saying her worldview highlights some inconsistencies that she's not going to address. Because if you're using biological essentialist argument, gender essentialist argument, what you're saying is that because you are men, you behave this way. But then she says, oh, there are men who are emotional, who attacks, kills, and they're in prison. The reason these men act out is because they were raised by single mothers. Therefore, the way that we raise boys have impact on how they respond emotionally. Will you make that same argument for women? If you can make the same argument for both men and women, then the biological essentialism, the gender essentialist, thus the argument that you're making goes through the window. Because it sounds like how you raise people, socialization is of consequence. But they won't engage with that. Thank you, by the way, because I also agree with you. It is incoherent.
I actually don't think there should be any laws on women's bodies. I think the only people who should be making decisions about what medical procedures a woman is receiving is herself, because she is an adult and can make choices for herself and with her.
Okay, this is too over. Oh my God. Like, I understand the impulse to do this, but that is dumb. Yes, when it comes to decision making about your body, it should be between you and your doctor, right? But the broad statement initially that no law should be there is weird. Like, no, that's not a society. And I get, like, it just feels like they're just, oh my God, like they're talking from the aspect of like catchphrases without engaging meaningfully in what the catchphrase means. The clarification after the statement is good, right? Like, decisions about a woman's body with the doctor feels like it's right, but saying there should be no law around it is weird. Like even the disclosure of medical information from the doctor's perspective is based on like law. Like, and mind you, I think I'm being too nitpicky, obviously, but I'm going to continue to be, because they talk into, they're too general in the way that they're discussing this, and I don't like it.
Doctor, because those are the only people who should be making decisions when it comes to women's bodies. I don't trust men to take a list and go to the grocery store and execute that successfully. I certainly don't trust them to put laws on my body and execute that successfully. Women are dying in Texas because of laws on their body. A woman was strapped to a life support machine where a baby was forced to be made when she was only 6 weeks pregnant, and the baby is now severely disabled. And
because I'm already in her worldview and I accept her worldview as a feminist, it's slightly harder to argue against her, but I have to say that her statement is too broad. It is way too broad. And I think if you pin her down in terms of the debate, I think she would concede, hopefully she would concede, that there are laws pertaining to women's bodies that should be there. Like, I think, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think she would concede it, but I think you would have to like pin her down on it. Because I generally agree with her worldview, it seems. But because I agree with it doesn't mean it's not overbroad.
that was a law by man. I don't think that men should be making decisions. If they can't find the clitoris on image, I don't care what they think about my uterus, okay? Like, that's my opinion. No more laws on women's bodies, period. Women are adults. They can make the right healthcare decisions for themselves, along with their doctor, who is also in the right place to make healthcare decisions. Should lawmakers be making healthcare decisions at all? Hope not. Hope not.
Should lawmakers be making healthcare decisions? Hope not. Okay, I need to clarify what she believes healthcare decisions are. And then we can go from there. Again, way too broad. Like, I'm not mad at her view, but like it's too much. Like the complete absence of a legal framework around healthcare, with particularly for women, is insane. No.
I don't really care what Mike Johnson has to say about my baby hole. So that's how I feel about that.
If you don't have them making any laws towards women and their bodies, then that means that you wouldn't have a doctor that could lawfully give you an abortion, right?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. 1 second. I need to say what I'm going to say without the microphone. I'm going to go on mute for 2 seconds and say what I'm about to say about her in a second. And then I'll come back and oh, I got it out of my system. I don't need to say it anymore. Whew. All right. I don't need to go on mute. That might be one of the, I think we have all been made dumber for having heard that. I think she thinks that the law allows, like, does she understand that law? I'm trying to figure out what she thinks law is. Like, I'm trying to, because when you create a rule, right, breaking that rule becomes an issue. Like, the law around abortion does not give you the positive right. Like, it doesn't make you able to have an abortion, right? Roe v. Wade was about restricting states from impeding on your right to get an abortion, right? Overturning Roe v. Wade is allowing the state to decide if you can have an abortion. Like, you're not expanding people's rights when you are making criminal law, for example, or like a general law. It's not an like, I don't know what she, like, you want to know something? Instead of attacking her, which I'm pretty sure the anti-feminists, the feminists are going to do, and I hate this because if you watch this, you realize the anti-feminists don't really talk. The feminists are the only ones talking. I wish they ask her to clarify. Like, just show how dumb the statement is. Ask her if she thinks laws on the books on abortion helps you to get more access to abortion. Because the laws around abortion are restrictive by their very nature. Roe v. Wade prevented those laws from restricting your rights to abortion. So without those laws aimed at abortion, you would have the right to an abortion generally. You wouldn't be breaking a law. If there are no laws around abortion, you would not be breaking a law getting an abortion. Like, I remember on the first video, y'all were up here mad, talking about they were being microaggressive to her by calling her dumb. There was no microaggression. She's just that, yeah.
So that means, because you're not, the baby just doesn't naturally die. If we put no laws on the book, then they wouldn't be able to give you an abortion.
If we didn't put laws on abortion, they could just perform an abortion. Like, that's the reality.
Yeah. If you didn't have laws on the book about abortion, you would just go perform an abortion. You wouldn't be breaking any law. You dumb. Thank you. But I wish you, the thing is, I wish people cared more about the Socratic method. I wish people did, because like, I think sometimes you have to highlight to people how dumb they are and how inconsistent their worldview is by making them trying to put this worldview in action and articulate. My power is dying. Sorry, my computer, I needed to plug it in. I forgot where I was. Yeah, I think the Socratic method is useful. I think it is useful because it allows people to try to make a coherent argument around their worldview And when they cannot, it highlights for them an important inconsistency that is baked within their mind. You telling them their answer is giving them the opportunity to reject it psychologically. When you ask them the question and they have to deal with it mentally, it allows them to think deeply about what it is that they're saying. And what I found that the feminists have been doing this entire debate is arguing their position instead of interrogating the position of the anti-feminists and letting the anti-feminists interrogate them. And because they know they're smart, and the feminists have been really smart, they're dog walking the anti-feminist. Because they're so smart, it feels like they indulge in expressing their intelligence. Love that for them. But they just sound smart, and the other ones, we don't get to see their worldview in action at all. Give them some hypotheticals. Give them some hypothetical, test their theory, ask them some questions without giving you a worldview.
What if the doctor doesn't want to perform the abortion? What if he doesn't believe?
What does that have to do with law? That has to do with their choice.
But if there are no
the laws does not force doctors to perform abortions, ma'am. Like, well, I'm not gonna ask, are you dumb again? Like, I'm not.
laws on the book, then that means that nothing can be done about it.
Well, that's not true, because there will still be doctors who perform that procedure. Like, I see the point that you're trying to make is, oh, if there's not a law in the book. These laws are not about expanding access to abortion. These laws are about diminishing access to women's health care, which has resulted in the actual very real deaths of women across the United States.
Okay, you could have just stopped there, but period. Ate that. You ate that. Yeah, it is not about expanding rights. The laws are about restricting rights. Without those laws, you would not be prosecuted. There would be no criminal prosecution at all for having abortions if there were no laws that you were breaking. So laws, by their very nature in the realm of abortion, is restrictive, period. Anything else after this is just gratuitous. You don't have to explain anything. We get it. You're smart. Now ask them a question. Because the feminists talk so much, and the anti-feminists do not get to talk at all. And the anti-feminists allow the feminists to talk and do not respond. And if you're going to do all this talking, at least have them respond to it. At least the woman at the end was like, are you going to respond to what I just say? They don't care. They just sit up there and like, oh my God, I'm just talking. Like, no, let them respond. Actually, let them do more talking. Because the more they talk, the more we see them.
States or near-death experiences of women all across the United States. Like, there's not some law on the book that's somewhere that's like, you get to have an abortion now
that's not
because
most
it's
cases.
here.
You guys always talk about like the smaller cases. It's not
Well,
most
those smaller cases matter because anybody dying is
but
too
what
many
about
people
the
dying.
man that seed you are carrying? Do he have a say? Do he have to?
What about the man whose seed you're carrying? Girl, if you don't get that fertilizer out of my penis, like, ooh, like,
Pay for your child now that you have a baby, so he has no say.
Well, he does have a say with his body. It's at ejaculation. I'm glad we had that conversation.
So,
period. Oh, period. Collar girl, collar at the end, bleach blonde collar at the end is eating right now. He had a choice at ejaculation. He made his choice. Yeah, he had a choice. He had bodily autonomy and he decided to do what he did. Now you have bodily autonomy, hopefully, and you can decide what you want to do. Period. Eat her up. I love that she added, I'm glad we had this conversation. Ew, that was a cute little cherry on top, girl. You redeemed yourself for me. Redemption. This is the redemption arc. I love it.
Body, my choice, uterus, his body, his choice, ejaculation.
So you have a choice to decide that, okay, I don't want to keep this baby.
Right, because that's my body choice.
But he has no choice in that.
No, his body choice was ejaculation.
Okay, but
yeah,
you
our
have
bodies work differently, so I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Once he ejaculates.
Period. Oh, no. Be messy. Be messy. Talk over her. Do not let her get it out because we already heard her question. You already answered. I don't know why she's re-asking the same dusty question without anything added. Like, you asked a question, she answered. You're re-asking the same question without adding anything to it. Like, what do you mean? Asked and answered. Objection. Ugh, get out of my face. Ugh. Period. I lived for that. That was messy and I loved it. I like when she said, I'm glad we had this conversation. Hey, whoa. Hey, whoa. She said, I'm glad we had this conversation. Period.
Can he not pay for that child if he has a choice, right?
Well, he didn't make a body choice that was appropriate for him, is what I'm hearing here.
But you're
telling me his body choice, he doesn't agree with that
now. You have a half of a human being that belongs to him in your body.
No, that child does not belong to you or him, actually. There's no ownership. You now need to care for that child, but you don't own that child. Get out of my face. You are now the child's protector, provider, and everything, but you do not own that child. There's no property rights vested in a child. Are you dumb? Like, but you're carrying his seed. You're carrying his seed, but he should have kept his fertilizer to himself. Ain't nobody got time for that. He did what he needed to do with his choice. Now you, with your body, have your choice. See how that works? No, but you want to impede on her right and her choice around her body. Because you decided that you wanted to give up your right to your fertilizer. Get out of my face.
So,
Yeah,
like,
but he
where's
had a
his
choice at
rights in that?
ejaculation,
So it's
didn't
all
he?
about me. That's
Did
what
he
I
have
hear.
a body choice at ejaculation?
Did he have a body choice? You let him
No, did he have
decide
a
if
body
you-
No, that's not the question. It's a yes or no question. Did he have body choice? I hate that phrasing. Did he have a choice when he did what he did? Ejaculated. Did he? Yes, he did have a choice. Sounds like he made his choice, didn't it? See how that works? See how that works. Sounds like he made a choice. Can you all like the video? This will stay public, so please also remind me to calm down and not get too excited, because these debates excite me now that I'm out in the streets. Did you like? Okay. Did you like the video?
choice at
both made a
ejaculation?
choice. You opened
you're
your
blaming the woman
legs.
for ejaculation?
Yes,
She doesn't even have a dick.
You opened
She
your
doesn't even
legs.
have
Who grants access to sex?
Who grants access to sex? Both people who engage in it? What kind of question is that? Both of you are granted access to sex. What do you mean?
Women do.
Oh,
Not
I'm
men.
sorry, you're blaming
But you'll be
women
like, they're
entirely.
rapists, they're raping me
This is why
then.
I can't have a conversation, because I just told you that both men and women have a body choice because our biology is different. I let you know that men have a body choice. You agreed that ejaculation is a body choice that is had by men.
Right. Both people, I hope. Because if both people do not consent and give grant access to sex, it is rape. So they can I understand what you're saying. I disagree with this, by the way. I disagree with it. Let me explain my framework. But I get what you're saying. I don't disagree with what you're saying, and we can have a different worldview here. Anything inside my body belongs to me. I own it. Once it leaves my body, then I no longer own it. Until then, it's mine. I don't think you have a property right vested in the, I'm thinking about this legally, in a child, in the way that if you own it, if you have rights in a property, you can sell it, for example, like organs, for example. But more fundamental to this is when I think about a child in a woman, or not a child, a zygote, I don't know, fetus, whatever. My thing is, you have a right to your body and whether or not you want to keep that in your body. Even if you don't have a right to the child, you have a right, in my mind, to your body. And that means you can decide what stays in, it stays in or leave your body. That's how I That is how I see that, right? But we can just have a different view of, like, I also know that there are parents who believe that they own their child. I don't believe you own your child in the sense that you have not even legally, morally, but I'm going to use a legal language here and I'm going to try to like not make it as legal. But I don't think there is a vested or there is a property interest or right in your child ever at any stage. But I believe that that doesn't change anything. You get to do with your body what you want to do with it. Now, there is an issue about consciousness, and my issue is about consciousness. And whether or not there is a distinct kind of your ability to think and feel, then it becomes blurry. And so, like, for me, obviously, there is a point at which abortion becomes murder. And for we can get into it at a different time, but like for the first trimester, hopefully most people can agree that I don't care. No one cares. The second trimester and the third becomes really odd to me, and I usually am quiet about that because I don't know what it means to have a child, physically carry a child. And so I don't know that is my job to impose restrictions about when abortion can take place. I just know that I am not in favor of someone restricting a woman's access to abortion generally, particularly within the first trimester. Men opt out of fatherhood all the time, which leaves women single mothers. So yes, they do choose not to take care of they're talking about child support. We're on the same page. Yeah, no. I get you. Thank you. The way I had a mask, eye patch, every single serum on. I was doing a lot of things today because I was told that I had to go outside, so I wanted my I wanted my skin. Right now, mind you, I feel like my pores, like my skin cannot breathe right now because of how many serums I have on.
And I said, great, that's their choice.
That was a body choice. And then he made a body choice. So now we have to decide what we do after.
I don't know if this is also what you're asking. So if everyone made their body choices and the baby is here, are you saying then the man should have responsibility for that child or should not?
I'm saying that if she wants to get an abortion, I mean, she wants to keep a baby and a man doesn't, then he should have the right to say, no, I'm not paying for it.
Once the baby comes.
Yes, he should have that right then. If we're talking.
That is such a dumb argument. This financial abortion argument is stupid. If the man said he doesn't want a child, he should be able to relinquish his ability, the requirement for him to pay for that child. Or he could not impregnate a woman. He could do that. Because what you do, and the slippery slope fallacy is only a fallacy to the extent that it's not necessarily going to happen, right? But this will happen, in fact. A bunch of men will just pretend they didn't want the child, so they don't have a responsibility. And it's stupid when you already made the decision you can make as a man to ejaculate without a condom. And like, you already made your decision.
Talking about equality, why do he have to pay for your body choice?
Well, his body choice.
He's not paying for your body choice. He's paying for his. He did what he needed to do to impregnate. His is done. His part is done. Finito. He did it. He could have not done it, but he did it. These people are just toxic and degenerate. Hey, Koja, how are you? You've been a member for 45 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Adrian has been a member for 47 months. I appreciate that so much. For both of you, hugs.
This was ejaculation.
Okay,
so we each had a body
but
choice.
you opened your legs. That was your body choice. You said
yes, it was her body choice, and it was his. What don't you understand? Unfortunately for him, Unfortunately for him, actually fortunate for him, he don't have to carry the child for 9 months. Now the woman get to decide whether or not she want to do that. That is her choice about her body, and he made his choice about his body. That's what happened. I don't know what you're talking about, girl. The one that student loan, 19, but never got the degree. Sally Mae says, I can't opt out even if it was a mistake. Right.
Yes. Question. I just have one question for you though. Like, so are you, because I don't know where you stand on Roe v. Wade, like, do you think we should ban it?
I think that
Because if you allow,
And let her answer the question. Oh, they're so frustrating. Like, okay, they're the intellectual superiors and they're dog walking the anti-feminists. But there is a kind of arrogance that is being used against the feminist here that I really don't like. Because even in asking the question, let her answer it and be dumb. Do not preemptively give her the answer that makes sense for her. Ask her the question, let her answer, and then drag her. That's how I like to see my match.
and to say, I don't want to pay for it, then you're really forcing women into slavery here. Like, you're going to be forcing women to be single moms.
I believe in the 3 exceptions. I think that life of the mother, obviously rape, incest, but obviously I don't believe that you should kill a baby. You shouldn't kill a baby. No.
Okay. But you said like, oh, but if a man doesn't want to be a part of it, he shouldn't have
I'm using your logic. I'm using your logic. If
That's
you're
not our
gonna
logic.
say-
My logic was using your body choice.
Okay, but if you're going to say that you're going to have a baby that is a part of somebody else that's inside of your body, another part of another person is inside of you, then they should have a say.
No, it's not. Their body is no longer in. This is the problem. This is why my view works so well. The child, the fetus, whatever you want to call it, does not belong to the father or the mother. It is a separate entity. It's a separate thing. It's a different life, if you want to call it that. Even without consciousness, it is separate from. So no, a part of him is not, like, I get that his biology is included, but he already made his choice about his body. Hi, ni hao, ni hao. Ni man hao, everyone.
You feel like there is no wrong reason to get an abortion?
I've seen so I have 11 siblings. I'm the oldest daughter. I've seen plenty of pregnancies. I've seen my mom go through miscarriages. And I think that probably affects the way that I view like childbirth. But
we don't care about your anecdote. Can I skip her? I don't know where I haven't watched this, so I don't know. I want to skip her.
I think as long as a woman wants to get an abortion and it's within a reasonable time, everybody's going to have a different opinion of what the reasonable time is. I don't think it's second trimester. I don't think it's third trimester. But like before a pregnancy comes to term, go for it. But if it's like getting to the point where you can see, like, it's such a hard topic. But I think elective abortions are fine before a certain time.
Right.
Yeah.
To the financial abortion, I'm actually okay with that. To this question specifically.
To financial abortion, I'm okay with that. Girl, get out of my face. Ain't nobody okay with no financial abortion. Absolutely not. You decided that you wanted to have a child when you did what you did as a man. You made that decision. So no, you don't get to financially abort. What's financial abortion? A dusty idea that if a man tells you that he don't want the child, that you should get an abortion, and if you do not get an abortion, he should not be financially responsible for the child. No. You don't get to go have fun and do that to a woman and then say, I don't want the child, and also I'm not going to be on the hook financially if you don't go and put your body through trauma to get rid of a child, a fetus, or whatever you want to call it. You do not get to make that decision. The woman gets to make that decision about her body and what she's willing to do and willing to not do with something growing, another life growing in her. She gets to decide if she wants to carry that child to term or not you. No, that's not right. You do not get to dictate if someone go do a medical procedure that is so difficult on their body. No, you do not. Absolutely not. That should be a voluntary thing for a woman to decide. No. I don't think a woman should ever get to be told by a man whether or not to have an abortion. That is insane to me. Like, an abortion is not just like a simple procedure. Even when we think about the pill, women bleed for day. Sorry for being like vulgar and crass, but like, women go through a lot. Like, you don't get to tell someone, oh, you now need to do that because I don't want to be financially responsible. No, she gets to make that decision about how willing she is to go through whatever procedure she needs to go through to either carry the child or not. Yeah.
For me, personhood seemed to be conferred around 12 to 15 weeks. So I would want the same rights for men and women. Yes, personhood. Because the thing we're valuing here, well, when you say human life, what you mean is another human being that we equally value. And the reality is that, like, at a certain point, this is why I can ask you guys this question. You've got a burning building, 2 rooms, 1,000 zygotes in one room, just recently fertilized eggs, and a baby in the other. Who are you picking?
They won't answer. Let's bet. I am not a betting man, but let's see what I can give y'all. I don't know what I can give about like over 300 people. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I can give. If they answer this question directly, I will owe you all something. They will not answer this question. Why? Because they are liars. These people are liars. They do not value a zygote in the same way that they value a baby, a person, a human being that has already been born. Every single one of them, with the ability to make the decision in a burning building, will go for the baby. They will not go for the zygote. They will not do it. They will not. And it could be 1,000,000 zygotes in there. They're not going to go save them. They're not going to do that. They're going to save the baby that is already alive. In the way that we perceive life, they're conscious, they can think. They're not doing that. They will not answer this question. Watch.
Who are you saving?
But that's like not relevant.
Who are you saving?
But that's not relevant. See, one say that's not relevant, the other probably gonna say they don't understand. The other was like, we don't do hyper. The other one is gonna say some foolishness. They will not answer that question directly. And what I absolutely hate, is that what is going to happen, I've never watched this, but what I hate is that every single feminist is going to talk repeatedly and move beyond that hypo, and that is a good hypo from this lady. That is a good. And instead of being on one accord and say we are not moving on until we get a direct answer to that inquiry, instead of doing that, they will move on because all of them want to show how smart they are. No, let them answer and highlight how they are lying about what they value. Or let them fill up their line and say they will go save a petri dish. Let them sit up there and lie. Sit in the camera and tell us that they will let a baby die in a burning house because they're going to save some petri dishes.
When you want to say that they are both
Are they inside of a woman's body?
No, they're zygotes that once you put them inside a woman's body, they will be fertilized. Yep. It's human life if you believe in life.
One person talk at a time. It's too confusing.
Yeah, I'll walk this through. Who are you picking? The baby?
Zygotes are not fertilized.
They are fertilized. Zygotes are always fertilized.
See, when you say the zygotes aren't fertilized, you don't even know. So you don't know what zygotes are by definition. Definitionally, you don't know. Why don't you just ask what is a zygote?
But what I'm saying is your question has nothing to do with
It does.
No, it really does.
why
It does.
Answer the question. Answer the question. I promise you, none of them will answer the question. They either have to lie or evade. And they're choosing to evade the question because they realize in the hypo, by the way, very good hypo, I'm stealing that. I'm taking that hypo about saving a baby versus zygotes. I actually have never heard that. It's actually a very good way to test what they value. And the truth is, these people don't value no zygote. They don't value no zygote. Ain't nobody value a zygote, girl. Ain't nobody care nothing about a zygote.
To answer
And aren't you
it
a
would be so
Christian?
easy. Yeah.
So why don't you believe that that's a human life?
Because life at
begins-
conception isn't even biblically established. Even the Pope would tell you this. There's no idea of when ensoulment begins. So if you want to have a theological conversation,
Yeah. Theological conversation. Please do not let up on your hyper girl. You have them in a corner. You have them in a corner lashing out. Do not ease up. Do not ease up. Period. Biblical. We can have a theological discussion. Please do not let go of your hypo. If you let go of that hypo, you're going to piss me off. If they let go of that hypo, they're going to piss me off because they're going to let all these feminists, anti-feminists, sit over there and ignore and evade.
we can go there, baby. But the issue is that when you talk about personhood, we are talking about when we confer moral value to another being. And I believe it's around 12 to 15 weeks because I think secular people.
Blah, blah, blah. Say, shut up. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead and shut it up. Why are you. We get it. Y'all are smart. Y'all is beautiful. Y'all is smart. Y'all is amazing. Blah, blah, blah. Period. Why are you talking? You ask a question, and instead of letting them sit with the fact that they can't answer, you are there talking. That's what they do. They sit there looking as dumb as they are and don't answer anything. And it looks like a conversation is happening when there is no conversation. Y'all are the only ones talking. Let them talk. Put it back in their court. Put the ball back in their court. Let them answer the question. Do not move on. Oh my God. She's also like, I agree with her, but like, we get it. You're smart.
Value consciousness. And I think consciousness is the best representation of ensoulment. That's why I value it there. But legally, I'm for the complete decriminalization because what we see in abortion is that, first of all, no woman is just like being like, I've carried this for 6 months. Right. Man, I just want to kill it. Almost every single time it is a absolute tragedy. And I'm not barring her from care. What we see in decriminalized states versus criminalized states, mothers die more, babies die more, children go into poverty.
They don't care. They do not care. They don't care about a statistic. That one lady just told you, your statistics conflict with my religion, so I'm going to ignore your statistics. Ain't nobody got time for your statistic. By the way, you're killing it. You're eating down. Period. Yeah, whatever. The issue is you gave a hypo that they're deflecting from, that they cannot answer because it highlights they're liars, they're hypocrites, and they have to be cognitively dissonant in order to live the way that they live, and they do not want to address that cognitive dissonance. Do not let them escape that. Go back to your hypothetical and have them highlight the fact that they are liars, that they're going to save the baby, not the zygote. And even if you have 1 million zygote, they're going to still choose the baby because they do not confer value on a zygote in the way that we confer value to a human life. They do not do that. Go back to your really good hypo. We get it. You're smart. Love the hypo, actually. Love it down. Go back to it. I like her outfit though, so she is forgiven. Oh, thank you. Let me probably put this on. All right, yeah, I can hear myself now.
And children go into foster care. An 11% increase in Texas when they started banning abortions into foster care.
She's pro-abortion. She is a feminist, and I agree with her. Well, she's talking about some financial abortion foolishness. So it's no. No, theme is not everyone has formal debate training. It's not just formal debate training. It is that these women who are feminists up there, and no, she does have formal debate training. This one, I know her. I know of her. She does. But they are so obsessed with their own intellect and hearing themselves talk and lecturing that they are not engaging in a conversation that highlights anything on the opposing team. They're just talking, and the anti feminist do not have to do anything. The anti feminist, all they have to do, all the anti feminist has to do is sit there. Yeah. All the anti feminist has to do is sit there. They just let the feminists talk by themselves with themselves about themselves. Like, apparently, all you have to do in a debate with a feminist is just let them talk. Just let them talk. And then go about your business with your worldview intact. Because you are not being challenged at all. You are, even as dumb as you are, no one knows that you're dumb because you don't get to talk.
Which is just a tragedy. Mother deaths increased in Texas by 6% with this. Baby deaths increased by 12%. So when I'm talking about decriminalization,
these women literally told you they don't care nothing about your stats. they sat up there and said, you can keep them stats to yourself because, my God. Hi, everyone. The anti-feminists have the deck stacked in their favor and are still somehow losing. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. They're getting dog walked. But for a casual listener, I think they'll think, oh, these people are just talking. Right? Both sides are talking. And it's no. The anti-feminists haven't said anything useful yet. And the feminists keep getting them trapped. The feminists keep dragging them into a corner and then letting them go. So I am hopeful that while she's talking and giving stats, she will go back to the initial question at hand and ask them, so who you gonna save, the baby or the zygotes? Because one of them was like, oh, a zygote. Well, if it's not fertilized, then I'm good. What? Okay, so you dumb. Ignorance is not. You are not dumb if you're ignorant. You are dumb if you're ignorant and don't want to correct that ignorance and arguing from an ignorant place. Like, if you don't know what a zygote is, Google it on your phone, ask to clarify what it is. I don't know, but don't engage with something you don't know or understand and pretend like you do and then look down like that. No.
I'm for it all because I want mothers and babies to live. But when we're talking about a moral question, which is what you're interested in, when does ensoulment begin?
I would like to disagree with what you said about.
Nah, you are not about to disagree with nothing until you answer the question about who you're going to save, the zygote or the baby. Who are you going to save, the zygote or the baby? Would you ever become a professor? Yes. When I retire, I hope that I retire and become a professor. And yeah, that's my goal. I think I should be a teacher, a professor. I don't want to teach high schoolers, but that's my goal in life. I don't ever want to stop working as long as I am not sick. I will always work. I will absolutely always. And the way that I want to work is through teaching. Ask a pro-life white woman if she would save 50 zygotes or a dog. Right. Ooh, girl, Penny, this is how little they value zygotes, right? This is how little they value zygotes. And to sit up there and pretend that they value it in the same way that they value a human life is an absolute lie. It is an absolute lie.
every time a woman has an abortion, it's some type of tragic
I said
decision.
after 6 months, just to clarify.
Okay, because what I have seen is that women are using abortion as birth control.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
What I have seen.
That's not even what the word birth control means.
What I have seen, you're a liar. You've been lying this entire time. All you anti-feminists have been lying. So I am not going to accept your anecdote. Mind you, even if you were not a liar, your anecdote is absolutely useless to me. Your anecdote is always going to be useless to me. If you're not coming with stats, you're going to have to go back to the back. Talking about, I have seen women use abortion as birth control. No, you haven't. No, you have not. Abortion usually wreck the woman's body. A lot of women are regretful and sad, and it's such a personal and emotional decision. No. Stop that lying, girl. And even if you're not lying, it don't matter. It's an anecdote. I have seen woman use abortion as a birth control. Girl, get out of my face. Ugh. People will scream loudly about how they would rather save their pet than a human, but that zygote question trips them up because they know it's some Yeah.
Million a year.
Okay, if I may finish. The protests, abortion on demand, my body, my choice, do whatever you want to. My concern, again, as an older woman, when we are all gone, what is going to be left behind if we look at.
Then go be fruitful and multiply. Ain't nobody care nothing about that. If you believe that women should have the right to have an abortion, period. Everything else that you're going to say after that, I do not care. If you want to populate the world, you go forth and populate the world, ma'am. Ain't nobody trying to do none of that.
Families and children as disposable.
We don't care.
I say, why do we have to take the nuclear option as the first option? There's over 30-something forms of birth control for women. I don't know how many of them were created by women when we want to talk about.
And how much for men? How many birth control methods for men? Let's talk about that. Because the responsibility seem to begin and end with women. Ain't nobody got time for that. Y'all are degenerate. I don't care nothing about none of this anymore. Y'all are degenerate. Ain't nobody got time. You said you're okay with abortion. Fine. Nothing else. We hear nothing else that you got to say.
Laws. I'm sure there were men scientists that came up with these ways that we can prevent abortion by preventing getting pregnant if you don't want to. But I would just disagree. I think women are using it as, oh, well, not always. I'm sure there are reasons that are tragic. I've never had an abortion, thank God. I was able to deliver without issue. My husband and I planned for those children.
Do you want to know the best? Sorry.
Your ex-husband. He divorced you because you were prioritizing your work over your marriage. You said that. Those were your words. Please, your ex-husband.
Do you mind if I jump in?
Go ahead.
Do you want to know the best policy for reducing abortion and increasing childbirth?
We do not care. We do not care about the best policy for anything. Ask your question again to these people. She's annoying me now. I think the feminists just love to hear themselves talk. To be fair, they're smart and they're dragging the rest of the girls. But, how you going to have this great hyper and just let it slide? You're just going to let them, ignore the fact that they don't care nothing about our life.
The best policy is making birth free and providing comprehensive welfare care for mothers and children. This is why
agree.
There's no such
nothing is free. No.
Sorry, when I say
Their response to saying making birth free, so they don't nothing is free just feels so reductive and useless. So she literally is talking about the dusty healthcare system that we have that does not benefit women, particularly women who are pregnant, how expensive it is for women to even have a child. Not even taking care of the child, mind you, having the child. The child that y'all are telling us, oh, we are going to ban abortion. For every state that is banning abortion, having a child should be free. If you're going to force the woman to have it and then make her pay for it, go get out of my face.
Yeah. I mean, universal health care.
Okay. Hi, loves. It's me again, Dr. Michelle Duff. We've really been enjoying producing these meaningful conversations. They have blessed.
Zero things are meaningful about these Dusty conversation. Get to the point. Like, ain't nobody got time.
Me. The next prompt is, white women benefit the most from the feminist movement.
Yo, I am shook. I'm actually shook. I wish I had watched this before, because had I watched this, I would not have been live. I would have made this my video for Tuesday. This right here, this section right here would have been my video for Tuesday. Here's why. It is wild. It is wild to say white women benefit the most from the feminist movement. By the way, that is a true statement. White women did benefit the most from the feminist movement. But it is wild for an anti-feminist to say this. Why? Because that is a concession that women benefited from the feminist movement. To say white women benefit the most from feminist movement is an acknowledgement that the feminist movement benefited women but disproportionately benefited white women. The way you explain this as an anti-feminist is you're about to watch all of them, the anti-feminists, watch all of them get tongue-tied. Because to articulate the benefits of feminism conferred to white women is to explain how feminism is good for women. And to highlight that is to also highlight how without feminism, these women did not have the kind of access that feminism gave them. So it is wild, because what the response the anti-feminists need to give if they want to have a coherent worldview is no. It did not benefit white women disproportionately because feminism is not good. It did not benefit women. Like, you can't say it helped white women. You can't say that. Like, you have to say, no, if we're anti-feminists because it actually hurt women. But maybe there is a way, I guess, if I was forced to make the argument that it did help white women but hurt women overall, there is a kind of threshold question there that I would need to answer. And then I can, I guess, create a kind of, I can create a structure whereby it did help, but it caused more harm than it helped, right? Like, that could be where they take this.
Okay. I think almost everyone agreed, but then not quite. Okay, why don't you go ahead and share?
I don't think any woman benefits from feminism, but I do agree if we're like playing into like, I don't know, I don't really like to, because I don't like.
Yeah, I told you they were gonna babble. The moment she started talking, I think they realized, as soon as she started talking, she realized, oh crap. As soon as she started talking, she was like, oh crap. You want to know why? The entire anti-feminist side are like women of color, except one, right? And so the natural instinct is that white women benefit from society more, regardless of what. Even when it comes to civil rights movement, white women benefited more than anyone else in terms of affirmative action and DEI later, right? So that's what, like, the natural instinct there is to say white women benefit because it is true, right? But in that truth, when you acknowledge that about feminism is the reality about benefits conferred from feminism. They can't admit to benefit being conferred by feminism, even to the point where instead of saying, yes, there were benefit, but it hurts the community and population more broadly, they really can't do that. They can't do that. So now they're just in like this dumb, discombobulated, weird response where she's like, well, I mean, it hurt women. I don't even like saying that there were benefits. Like, they can't do anything. They just stuck, girl. Hopefully one of them will be able to articulate there were specific advancement, but there is an overall harm to society. I don't agree with this, but their best argument would be to highlight specific benefits from feminism and then juxtapose that against a society being degraded because of feminism.
Feminism, I don't really like to even acknowledge any kind of like a benefit or anything because I just don't.
Girl! Yo, this question got them, this prompt got them in a chokehold. A choke, just dragging them by their neck on the floor. Girl.
I don't agree with it as an ideology, but there is that race element to it. So.
Do you think?
So she said nothing. She just sat there and said nothing.
Being able to choose your career or wear pants.
Girl, stop that! Oh my God! Stop asking these people questions. Let them tackle the prompt. The prompt by itself is clean. The prompt by itself is clean. You specifying about work, she's just going to say, well, men were providing for us or some foolishness like that. Like they get to be degenerate in their responses to direct questions like that. The prompt says white women benefit the most from the feminist movement. You have to articulate benefits from the feminist movement to say white women benefit the most from this. The assumption there is that there were benefits conferred by the feminist movement, so you actually have to accept the premise to say yes. You asking specific questions is annoying. You're giving them an out. You're giving them an out.
Or drive or vote or anything like that is something that feminism has brought about, or what do you think brought that about?
Well, I just don't. If I had to choose my womanhood or my motherhood over material gain, I would choose my womanhood.
Ain't nobody asked you none of that. There's no way you can choose your womanhood and motherhood over material gain. Are you dumb? You're not going to be alive choosing your womanhood and motherhood over material gain. Without material gain in a capitalist system, you're going to die. And nobody asked you that foolishness. Also, why are you talking at feminists? Like, just re-ask the prompt. How does white women benefit more than black women or other women in the feminist movement? Ask them that. That's the only question that needs an answer.
Answer to the question, please.
No, I think it's materialistic.
But don't you have all of those
But
things now?
that still does not answer my question. There's been a lot of non-answering questions here.
Yeah, and y'all let them not answer question. I don't know why you bring it up. It was like, oh, there's been a lot of not answering question. Yes, that's what they've been doing, and y'all just keep moving on. Because y'all are afraid of these people. I thought the feminists were rah-rah. I thought the feminists was about that life. These feminists ain't about that life, and it's pissing me off. Like, we don't care nothing about the male gaze, so, like, get in there and do the work. Worried about whether or not they're mean. Like, ugh. Why would you even point that out? There's a lot of evading going on, yes, and y'all allowing it.
I don't think because you guys are going completely off the prompt. The prompt is white women benefit more.
Yeah, they do. We agree. Yes, they fucking do. But white women always come up before everyone else most of the time anyway. That's just the thing. It's still, sorry to bring up race, but like white people in general. So if we're going to talk about women, yeah, did it benefit?
Girl, why are you apologizing for bringing up race when it's in the prompt? Like, they're so annoying. Like, they're talking to these black people. Yeah, they might be racist. They might be racist. Because I don't think you need to talk to the people, women of color, with kitty gloves. Like, you don't have to treat them like they're kids. Like, I want to apologize for bringing up race. Race is literally in the prompt. White women benefit the most from the feminist movement. Why are you apologizing for bringing up race? Y'all all agree that white women benefit the most. Why are you apologizing? Don't apologize. Stand on business. You need to stand on business, girl. Yeah, right. They do have that guilt, and it's not useful right now. Any other time, I'd be like, period. It's not useful right now, girl. Miss Owen had her foot on the neck.
White women more? Of course it did, because we still had to tackle the civil rights movement. Human rights.
I see why you fight for it.
So I mean,
All of those movements are movements to get you to do things. It's not you thinking for yourself.
This movement was so that we could decide what we wanted to do.
Well, most of the stuff that you guys said you wanted, you have now. Now it's to the point where you have allowed men. You have literally allowed physical.
Girl, that's not true. That you don't have the right to an abortion. The second wave was specifically about this, and a lot of women in America don't have the right to abortion based on where they live. So you're lying. You're a liar. You can disagree with abortion all you want, but don't say women have the rights that they fought for, because they do not. Literally, an entire wave of feminism was predicated on this right. So no, you're a liar. I'm not asking about your judgment. I don't care about whether or not you agree or disagree. You made a statement that women have the rights that they fought for, and that's not true.
Like, you physically allowed men into your movement. It just contradicts the whole movement.
Are you dumb? Allowing men to be feminist. I'm a feminist. How does that contradict the movement? Feminism is about equality of the sexes. Anyone can be a feminist. Are you like? I bet none of the feminists ask her how. To be fair, these two are laughing at her. To be fair, these two right here, they're holding back laughter because they're like, this girl dumb. You can look at these two faces and you're like, all right, girl, at least they know what they know what to say in their minds.
Allow
No, it doesn't. We're not answering.
Transgender women are men.
Oh God, we're not going.
Wait, is she talking about trans? She just said, did she say trans? What it's got to do with feminism? Okay, girl, here's a cookie. You're transphobic. Fine. What that got to do with feminism? No, I'm not sitting here having a conversation with an idiot. It's not going to happen. I mean, I would. I'm not going to lie. I would. But, like, just know you're an idiot. Like, ain't nobody got time.
We literally allowed you physically allowed men into your movement. It just contradicts the whole movement. When you allow
No, it doesn't. We're not answering.
transgender women are men.
Oh God, we're not going there.
Yeah, they're men.
Here we
You guys
go.
allowed them in the movement.
I think in general,
Anyone can be in the feminist movement. When you say they're allowing transgender in, like, what, like, how is that probative in any meaningful way in pushing your argument forward? Like, yeah, anyone can be a feminist. Trans men, trans women, men, women, and like gay, bi, whatever. Like, I'm confused as to why she thought that was like I am. I don't understand why she thought that was an argument. I'm annoyed at the feminists because they're letting these people get away with too much. What was that about? Does she know straight men are right? Like, I get, like, she wants to appeal to people who are like transphobic or whatever. Like, I get that, but like, that was not useful. Like that was not useful at all. Like at all.
Movements that are about any group of people is always going to best serve the majority population within that group and also those who already have other privileges conferred intersectionally in other areas, which is why white women are going to benefit the most from feminism, right? This is going to, if you look at class-oriented stuff, generally poor white people will benefit significantly more on certain measures than other groups of people, right? This is just generally the case, in part because of just numbers. There's just more of them in that group of people, right? And because of that, you're just...
The whole transgender thing too is very annoying to me. And like, I generally don't really talk about this. The reason it became annoying to me is like such a small percentage of the population that a lot of us don't even interact with on like a daily basis. For a lot of people in politics, like even the last election, use that. Like, I don't care about your actual opinion, but the fact that that is the thing that you voted on is insane to me. To hear people say, oh, I wanted to protect children, so I'm going to vote for the man who was all up and through them Epstein files, is... Y'all are liars, and anybody go, I'm not going to sit here and be lied to. I'm just going to shake my head and move on about my business. Y'all are liars.
Going to get more outshiners and stuff like that. You're going to get people who benefit maximally from it. So this is mostly a population issue. Yeah, there's more white women. White women will disproportionately benefit from feminism. But I guess maybe I could answer Matrix about feminism doesn't confer any benefits because you don't like feminism. I think one of the issues, so one thing that happens on my tribe that I have a major issue with is we don't acknowledge any of the good things from the established institution, which they call patriarchy, that has benefited everyone, right? And I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Feminism just has given you a credit card. I don't know what else it could even, nothing else is attributable here, right? It just did give you the right to vote, right? It did give you these choices. And I get you don't like feminism, but unfortunately, that's what is to blame for these things. You can dislike feminism and still appreciate what historical feminists have done.
No, I can do what I want. I can not like
it. You can do what you want, including lie and be delusional. What she's saying is, objectively, you were granted these rights via the fight of feminists. Feminism gave you that kind of right. I don't care what you believe. What you believe is useless. What you believe is dumb. What you believe is ignorant. But you have a right to believe that. What you don't have a right to do is lie and pretend that women did not benefit as a collective from feminism. You liar. And you being a mean girl does not actually change the fact that you are wrong. That is wild. Mind you, the feminists spend so much time being nice to these people who are absolutely disgusting in the way that they respond. There's no sympathy, there's no empathy, there's no good faith on their part. And the feminists spend so much time over there being nice. Like, don't be nice. What Megan Stallion said, I'm not nice. I'm tired of being humble because I know that I'm not nice. I'm mean.
it, not contribute to it, not be a part of it, not have a credit card, not vote. I can do that.
She said, I can choose not to have a credit card and not vote because I'm opting out of feminism. Yeah. Feminism gave you the right to choose if you want to vote or not. If you want a credit card or not. It doesn't say you have to vote. It didn't say you have to get a credit card. Feminism don't tell you have to get a job. The reason you have to get a job is because your man can't provide. That's why you have to get a job. Feminism made it possible that you are not in poverty with a dusty man because your man can provide by himself. I know this because the lady with collar and pink hair said, your man can provide for you, and none of them objected to it. All of them are working women. All of them have to provide for these men and their families. All of them are mad because they're not trad wives. All of them have to engage in what feminism made possible. So they're big mad girl, and they're taking out of feminism instead of their man who can provide for them. Because if your man can provide for you, you can actually live the trad lifestyle. You could be a stay-at-home wife. You can't because your man broke, you broke, and so y'all both have to work. So feminism win.
I just meant to be, I guess I meant to be intellectually coherent.
No, she didn't opt out of anything. She opted out of everything beside a job. She got a job. All of them got a job. All of them got to work. All of them got to provide because their man can't provide for them. And this one divorced, so she got to provide for herself. So she can be as anti-feminist as she wants. She's divorced with kids to raise, so she got to work. So she can be as anti-feminist as she wants. She gonna work. She gonna work. She gonna work. She gonna work, and she gonna work. All of them working women talking about the anti-feminist. Girl, get out of my face. I don't take anything you say as valuable when you're talking about men provide, men to protect, men should lead, blah, blah, blah. Women should be submissive and sweet. If you have a job, I ain't going to take anything you're saying seriously.
You have to, but it's fine if you don't want to. That's fine.
Exactly. Thank you.
I think, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think what maybe these women feel is that maybe those things are important to you, but they're not important to them.
No, idiot. No, that cannot be what they mean. Because in that case, they would not be objecting to the rights conferred by feminism. They can opt out of voting. They can choose to not get a credit card. They can choose to not work and be subject to the rule of a man. They can do that. They can do that. So they're not objecting to their choice individually. They're objecting to a societal reality around feminism and the right it conferred. Trad wife plus job equal single married mother. You play too much.
But the difference I think here between maybe it's confusing for you guys, but feminists, I don't want to tell you what to do with your life. I genuinely don't care what you do. If you want to have a baby, I want you to have it. Actually, if you want to have a baby, I want you to have a baby because those are the people who we want to be parents, right? Like feminism is all about choice. If you want to be a trad wife, I want you to be that trad wife. I hope you find the man who can provide for you in this economy.
Ask them, did you find the man who can provide for you in this economy where you don't have to work? And watch them squirm. Divorced women in the middle can't say nothing because we know she divorced. We know she was the provider, right? When she said she didn't prioritize her relationship because she was out there trying to get bonus at work and in the corporate world, it mean her man was broke. And if he wasn't broke, he couldn't provide on his own. All of them over there had to work. You should have just asked them the question. Again, the Socratic method is very useful. Ask them, so a man has been taking care of you since birth, and you've never had to work to provide for yourself. Ask them that question and see. We already know. They were over there complaining about how much they had to work, girl. All of them are working women. Ain't nobody got time for them. Like talking about a fantasy they ain't never lived. Like all of these women, the women of color on that side sitting over there talking about a world that they literally have never lived in. Like, how you gonna sit over there like, we should not, we don't work, we don't vote, but we don't cook, we don't clean. You don't do nothing. And I said nothing. Like you're sitting over there and you're trying to pretend you're a trad wife and you're not. Your man broke, you broke, the world broke, girl, you gotta work, we gotta work, everyone working. Ain't nobody got time for you and your foolishness.
That's all it is. It's just about having choice. I'm not telling anyone how to live their life. I would.
Also, you didn't opt out of a credit card if you didn't qualify for one. Go try to figure out if you're qualified and get and then opt out. Let's do that first. Let's see them credit scores.
Never tell you guys what to do, but I feel from your point, you are telling us how to live lives. Like a lot of the time it comes off as you're wrong if you do this, you're bad if you do that. And I'm not going to tell you if you're right.
a lot of the times it comes off, that is too soft a language. You all are sitting over there telling us how women should be and what the Bible dictates for women. You are telling us how we should live. Feminists are telling you that you have a choice in how you should live. Don't say sometimes, drag them. Be direct. Like, y'all are too nice. And these girls over on the other side are mean and very disrespectful.
You're wrong about your decisions for yourself.
Mind you, they're getting dog walked. They're getting dog walked, and they're mean and disrespectful. You would think they would be more humble when they're getting dragged.
I'm not your mother. I don't know what's better for you, just like you guys aren't mine. So that's my only problem here. Feminism is just a way of, it's an equalizer, so we can all come up together.
I feel you. I guess, like, for me, like, the reason why I really opt out and I'm strongly against it is because I don't really hear you guys acknowledge any positive things. Like,
she's a liar. She's a liar. She literally just said 2 minutes ago that she opted out of voting. She opted out of getting a credit card. Now she's saying, oh, your rhetoric doesn't include children.
About motherhood.
Yeah, your thing doesn't include motherhood, not children. No, that's not why. That is not why, you liar. You literally just sat up there and said you opt out of voting, you opt out of credit card. What that got to do with motherhood? We think we didn't hear when you said you get to do what you want and you don't want to do feminism, you don't want to vote, you don't want to have a credit card. You think we didn't hear you say that? So your reasoning, because what you could do is prioritize motherhood if you don't think feminism prioritizes motherhood enough, while also benefit from the other parts of feminism. So you're a liar, and then to sit up there and pretend, oh my God, guys, I don't hear you guys talking about motherhood after being so disrespectful in your rejection of feminism previously is wild. You liar.
At the forefront of the movement. Like, I feel like a lot of the stories that are told in feminism or feminist theory and stuff, it's always like these terrible, tragic, sad stories. And like, even the women that you reference, you know, as...
Mind you, they're saying feminism is cherry picking the bad stories, right? It completely ignoring that the minority of abortion cases that they're talking about, where it's a late term abortion or something like that, is very small. And so they're cherry picking data too. Well, they don't use data. They're cherry picking their dusty anecdotes, right? And completely ignoring that. And that is more egregious than what the feminists do in their cherry picking of data. It's so weird because it's like, you can be a mother and prioritize motherhood and still be a feminist. The cautionary tales are important on both sides. But like, you have the choice to be a trad wife.
Our feminist leaders, like, they didn't live very beautiful, amazing, extravagant lives that
Yeah, thank you. The feminist spoke about wanting to choose motherhood and supporting mothers, and she was the one who said nothing is free. The feminists were talking about how to prioritize motherhood and making sure that having a child is something that is financially feasible for women, particularly when they can't have an abortion. And this was the same one who jumped up and said, oh, no, nothing is free. And they did not engage with actually helping mothers to be good mothers in the way that they are present and do not have to go out and work as hard outside of the home if they choose not to. She not romanticized nothing. She's just delusional.
Little girl would want to aspire to live. And so I feel like a lot of time, well, Mary Wollstonecraft, Susan B. Anthony, all of these feminists, they all had very tragic, sad, like traumatizing lives. And so even when they take like anecdotes like of other women's lives, it's always a highlight on like these terrible things. And it's like, why can't we teach women how to be happy, how to, you know, submit and enjoy that, how to...
Absolutely not. Why couldn't you just leave it at happy? Why can't we teach women how to be happy? Because ain't nobody about to be happy in this economy. Not a man, not a woman, not a child. We are about to suffer. You can't teach nobody to be happy. But had you left it there, I would have been fine. Why you got to teach women how to submit? Why? Because they are pushing their position of womanhood onto other women. Feminists are saying if you want to play these subdom games and go submit, you can do that. Why you want to teach women how to submit? No, you go and submit. If you want to live out your kink, girl, go live out your kink. Ain't nobody trying to submit to a dusty degenerate youth for weekend, nothing a B word. Ain't nobody trying to do that but you, girl. And have fun. You have the right to do that. You have the right to not vote. You have the right to not get a credit card, a house, clothing, shelter. Like, you have the right to be as destitute as you would want to be. You have that right. Go do that. Now, the problem is you are trying to get other women to do what you want to do. Ain't nobody trying to submit, girl. You go submit. Talking about why don't we teach women how to be happy submitting? Girl, get out of my face.
To appreciate what their body can do. Like, I don't understand why that is something that's shunned, because y'all's faces are turning. So that's what I'm trying to say is, like, why is it always, why are all the bad stories amplified? That's what I'm curious about, because that's not every woman's story. That's not every woman's experience.
No, you're right. It's not.
No good story comes from everything going right is a quote that I've heard that I think maybe might answer that.
All right, I need to figure out how to mute her or like skip her section. I wish there was a way to say please skip whenever she talks. It's not. I don't know what she's responding to.
But with back to the prompt, we all agree feminism benefits white people, white women the most. How do we actually bring everybody else up? Is there any people that disagree with feminism? Like, how do we bring everybody up?
I think we bring up our community by turning towards each other instead of against each other. And I think if you look at it as a balanced approach, I'm not going to deny the fact that women can work, we can vote, we can own, we can do all those things. But I think it is foolish to only look at that and not look at the harm that feminism has.
All right. So she's the only one with a brain over on the anti-feminist side, because this is the only actual argument you have when you take the position that feminism help white women. It is, oh, it helps, but it caused more harm. And the people who benefit disproportionately are white women, but there is a larger issue at hand. That's the only answer. So while it's a dusty, degenerate, and useless response, because we talked earlier about how societies where women are granted the rights that they need are doing better than every other society in human history. Every society where women have access performs better than every other society, right? So the statement is incorrect substantively. But in terms of a debate, a coherent position, it is the only position an anti-feminists have if they are in fact saying white women benefit the most from feminism, because to acknowledge the benefit would have to be in relation to the harm. There's no harm. There is no harm. Let's be very clear. I'm just saying the argument, for argument's sake, has to be that the harm is more present. It is more obvious for them, but the harm is greater than the benefit. The benefits conferred to women, and white women in particular, has to be dwarfed by the harm, perceived harm, that is caused by feminism for their argument to make any sense.
Caused especially minority communities. I'll speak as a Black woman. Black women get married at 1/4 the rate. And that is not helping our community, because we're going against our men, and our communities are stronger because we are better together. So,
mind you, feminists 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 talks about how all of their friends are feminists and married. A bunch of these feminists are in fact married. So if feminism is stopping Black men from getting married, girl, it sounds like it's not feminism. And like, if you believe feminism is stopping men from getting married, now you're gonna have to explain what that is. Mind you, women still have to work in the Black community. To talk about the Black community, like, Black women cannot opt out of the benefits conferred by feminism. Prior to the feminist movement, Black women were actually working, right? Black women do not actually have black women don't actually have an option. If black women are dating within the black community, they do not have an option. They actually do have to work. And if that makes men feel bad and don't want to marry them, sucks to suck, because I know a black woman hopefully is not going to stop providing for herself to get a black man. That would be wild. So, regardless of a feminist movement, black women actually do not have the option. And increasingly, more and more women across race do not have the option of not benefiting from feminism.
So I think when we promote healthy families, when we promote the nuclear family, when we promote husbands and wives, moms and dads, boys and girls, that is how we get better. Feminism is not going to make us better. Feminism is actually making our community worse.
I didn't know that feminism.
How? Oh, I didn't know that feminism. I bet the next words are, I did not know that feminism prevented men from getting married. I know that's what she about to do. Girl, I wish they would just go full out drag. I wish they would just drag them full out. Like, I never got time for this.
How we get better. Feminism is not going to make us better. Feminism is actually making our community worse.
I didn't know that feminism equals like not getting married at a higher rate.
Drag her. That was a cute little 1-2-1-2. That was a cute little drag. We see each other, girl. Girl, let me take over one of y'all's consciousness for a second and do a little drag. Now you're gonna get dragged after I talk through one of y'all mouth. Y'all gonna get dragged online, but it would be worth it.
Is that what you guys think feminism is? Is it just don't marry?
I mean, it leads to not getting married because men just don't like masculinity. They don't like
So you think
women
if you're a feminist, you're masculine?
I mean, like you can take a look at this row of how these women are dressed. They're dressed very feminine, all of them. And then look at you guys.
Nah, she ate them up. Nah, she ate them right on up. she ate them right. She ate them right on up. She. Yo, she ate them. She ate them girls right on up. Mind you. She said, look at us and look at y'all. You want to know the real joke? You want to know the real joke? You want to know the real joke? They're talking to a bunch of white women who are married. I don't know if all of them married. They're talking to a bunch of white women who are married. They're talking to a bunch of white women who have already explained that their friends who are feminists are married. So you are saying men don't like masculinity, and these women are masculine, and they are married, and your man will choose them every day of the week and twice on Saturday. That's the gag. Because she did. She ate that. No. She ate that. That was a read. Period. And while I don't comment on whatever, she ate them all up. But it is insane for a black woman to sit there while saying that black women are the least likely to marry and then call the white woman feminist, ignoring the stat around marriage, which is what they covet on the anti-feminist side. That is insane.
and that
Feminist, you're masculine?
I mean,
Very.
like you can take a look at this row of how these women are dressed. They're dressed very feminine, all of them. And then look at you guys. And I'm not. You got your dress on. I'm not even. And this is not a dig at you guys.
And then see, if you're going to drag stand on business, how are you going to sit there and drag them and then say this is not a diss on y'all? No, you were disrespectful. You ate them right on up, but it was straight up disrespect. You were disrespectful. I ain't mad, girl. The feminists not doing anything but be nice. Ain't nobody told them to come here and be nice. No one told the feminists to be nice. So drag all you want, sis. Ain't nobody got time. But it is wild for you to coward out. And I would have just pointed out that I'm married. Because mind you, marriage is not itself like something to flaunt, but in the face of anti-feminists who look to men to protect them, marry them, and all of that, they are not married. And so that would be a dig to them. Ask them how many of them married. One of them said, my boyfriend at some point, I think. This one said, I was married to a black man. So one of them is married. This one divorced. I don't see no ring on this one. This one has not talked about marriage. And this one just seemed like she hasn't been picked yet. So, yeah.
It's not a dig, but it is. But it's just to say that men are more attracted to that.
Kidding? That is insulting. Yeah, men will put their in what they can put it in.
And they won't stay with them, but they will marry.
She just sat here and looked at all of us and said, oh, this is what men want.
I mean, ask them.
To have a bunch of white women on one side and the black women say this is what men want is a weird thing to do, particularly with the marriage stats the way that they are. For y'all to pedestalize marriage like this as anti-feminist and not realize the irony while y'all are sitting there is insane. Like, that statement is actually crazy. It is still a drag, but that is an insane thing. Yeah, no, I know she's married, yeah.
The reason that I said it benefits white women more, I don't think it benefits women at all. But if we go back to like Margaret Sanger.
This one is also married, it looks like. I see the ring.
Starting Planned Parenthood and abortion. She was part of the eugenics movement. So she wanted to kill black babies. Mm-hmm. So that is part of the feminist movement, was to get rid of black women's babies.
Yeah, and slavery was a part of America. Is America just now trash? Should we just like abandon America? Like, you can acknowledge negativity within a movement. Margaret Sanger was not the feminist movement. She was a part of it, a big part of it, a part that should be acknowledged and grappled with. Yeah, but you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's the phrase, right? Girl, I was about to say, you don't throw the dog out with the bathwater, but in my head, I was like, well, it's not an animal. I'm pretty sure it's a baby. Anywho.
And the black population.
I think this actually speaks really well. I forget your name. I'm so sorry. Maggie.
Yeah.
Maggie was saying this as well, and it's something I echo, which is that there's a really big problem that happens in our tribes where we don't want to look at the bad things that's associated with them. And I would totally agree with that, right? I look at that and I'm like, I don't think that's great. I like Simone de Beauvoir for lots of reasons, but I don't love everything. I don't love everything that feminists do, right? When I say that I'm a feminist, it's because the ideology, which I would label as feminism, is for the promotion of femininity and like the advocacy and empowerment of women. I think that that's good. So look at the third wave of feminism, which you're probably going to have an issue with. The third wave of feminism was a very white woman movement. It was mostly fixated on getting women into work and wasn't celebrating things that are associated more typically for women with femininity. I think that that's bad. But you look at the fourth wave movement of feminism, and that's corrected. That's why I like the fourth wave of feminism. So we can have bad actors, we can have bad ideas in feminism, and still identify with the idea if you choose to, right? And this is why I choose to. I don't stand by every feminist. I mean, we've disagreed on this side, right? We're heterogeneous necessarily. And
now, why would you use the word heterogeneous in front of these people, girl? Like they hear hetero and it's done. The anti-feminists are performative. That is why she mentioned how they are dressed. They think their dress and being soft-spoken makes them better. Yeah. It's valid that's the performance that they're failing. Thank you, by the way, Stars Above the Emerald Forest. I appreciate that. Sadly, they're wasting their time. Yep.
Yeah, I guess I'll let you back to that.
Well, our country was founded by white men who raped their slaves, but it doesn't mean that I'm not proud to be an American.
Period. I am proud to be an American. Well, at least I knew I pray. Jesus! A proud American.
Just in the same way that I would say that I'm proud to be a feminist. So.
And the final prompt is, there is no shame in having a high body count.
I don't understand the prompt. I don't understand the prompt. There is no shame in having a high body count. Are they saying there shouldn't be any shame in it? Are they making a descriptive statement about society now? Because there is no shame in having a high body count is not a true statement currently. People are shamed for having a high body count. As a society, we shame people for having a high body count. If we're talking about intrinsically, or rather internally, for people who have a high body count, particularly women, some women have personal shame for having high body counts. Now, if the question or the prompt is there should not be shame in our society for having a high body count, that completely changes, because now we're making prescriptive judgment on the world and what should and should not happen. But if you're describing society as is, yes, there is shame in having a high body count, unfortunately, from my perspective.
No. Okay.
Well, I think that shame leads to repentance, and repentance leads to changed behavior.
Oh, God, here we go.
And so having a high body count, like, for example, I talk to people in my community, in the Christian community, and I speak with people, and women that do have high body counts, they tend to struggle with like BPD, borderline personality disorder.
Is it mean to say, I don't care about your anecdote? That is not what you do in a debate, because that is a dusty. To sit there and say, the women you know have high body count also have BPD, feels like you're blaming a high body, like it almost feels like she's trying to suggest that high body count leads to BPD, as opposed to BPD having a consequence of BPD could be impulsive sexual behaviors. So it like it's just stupid.
Other personality issues, comparison, even struggling with being satisfied in the bedroom with their husbands because they had so many other sexual partners. So I do think that there should be shame. I think there should be shame if men are sleeping.
Wait, so you think having a high body count causes BPD, depression, and a lot of harm to women? And then you are saying they should also be shamed. You don't care about these women. Because, like, you already have the high body count, right? So shaming them isn't going to stop them or change their numbers in terms of partners. So you are going to add more harm to the person that you described as being harmed by the thing they're already doing. That is an insane thing to do. That is an insane thing to do. You say it apparently leads to BPD in your dusty world. No one has ever said that ever in their life, but you believe that having a high body count leads to BPD. You believe it leads to depression and all these bad outcomes, and you think that shaming these people they cannot change their past is going to be useful. How? Ain't nothing, ain't nothing, ain't nothing more hateful than a Christian love.
Around. I will say that there's a
Okay, I don't mean that. I take that back. I take that statement back about Christian love. They're amazing Christians that I've met.
accountability for that too. That's not right. So, but this is like our Christian beliefs. So in my Christian beliefs are both of us should be waiting until marriage. So yeah.
Well, I want to address the statistics there because people with higher body counts do show higher satisfaction in relationships, specifically also like couples who have more sex over time experience happier sexual relationships like that. The other thing I want to make sure that we're getting the causation right here. Women or people with BPD struggle with higher impulsive sexual behavior.
Period glasses! Come through, glasses! A period! A period! Look at glasses go. The anti-feminists are just dumb. They're just generally dumb. It's not really anything to engage with. Don't say women are dumb. Some are. These one aren't. They just like to talk.
It's not people who are more sexual struggle with BPD. I want to make sure we're not like saying this thing is causing like high sexual behavior is causing BPD. It just happens to be that this group of people, that's like saying that people who have like hallucinations struggle with schizophrenia or whatever. We're like, okay, well, yeah, you're going to look at a population that has a high level of that and say, oh, well, they have high levels of this. Well, yeah, let's like.
Girl, stop! Stop! Oh my God, stop! You ate her right on up. Just stop. You ain't gotta. To be fair, I get this way when I get very technical. So, like, hats off to her. Keep doing your thing. Me telling you to stop is me just being annoying. But like, it would have been so much more impactful had you done the BPD comment and then stopped.
The population you're looking at. That's like saying also that men happen to be more suicidal and then saying like, oh, it's a thing with men. Like it is just the fact about being a male that makes you more suicidal, which is not true. Like you're getting the causation kind of mixed up. I want to make sure that's very clear.
I mean, I feel like I'm going to speak from a whole different type of language.
Girl, you better speak from a whole different type of language. After she got dragged, she got. She said, I feel like I'm speaking from a whole different types of language. Period, girl. Acknowledge nothing. Acknowledge nothing. Confess nothing. Period. The feminists are the anti-feminists are literally the worst. They are the worst. They acknowledge nothing. They concede to nothing. They accept nothing. They're just there to promote their worldview, and they do not engage with anything these people are saying. Like they will hear a stat. That same girl that is about to talk, she will hear a stat and not know how to respond to it. And instead of responding, she said, I know that you're going to tell me about a state, but I'm a Christian. See, the thing about your statistic is I'm Christian. And the thing about your statistic is the thing about your statistic is I'm Christian, so period.
More suicidal, which is not true. Like, you're getting the causation kind of mixed up. I want to make sure that's very clear.
I mean, I feel like I'm going to speak from a whole different type of language where I think that when you are laying down with someone, you're creating a soul tie. So I do think that that will lead to
What's a
some
soul
type
tie?
of just.
Wait, sorry, I didn't pause just to laugh. I promise I didn't pause just to laugh. These people do not care nothing about a stat. They don't care nothing about a science. They care nothing about what you gotta say at all. All she gonna do is tell you that her Bible tell you about a soul tie. Actually, yeah, the Bible does not say nothing about a soul tie. The Bible ain't told these people they got no soul tie.
Spiritual bonding.
You have like an
within
argument.
King Solomon was out here soul tying it up with all his concubines and wives. Ain't nobody, the Bible ain't told them people nothing about a soul tie. Is BPD in the Bible? Is that code for Jezebel spirit? Yeah, that's what yeah. Cause ain't no BPD in the Bible either, girl. They out of pocket.
That there's like a spiritual, or is this just like religious?
Yeah, it's
thing?
just my religious beliefs. Yeah.
Okay, there's no evidence. I mean, I can't argue with that.
Anyone else?
I feel like we're
You looked it up because you know these people are liars. That's why. You know they're liars and deceptive. They're Decepticons. the anti-feminist are Decepticons. Ain't nobody got time to listen to them and not look up some stuff. She found the stat but lost one of her.
Looking at different statistics on the relational satisfaction, because women with higher body counts get divorced at a far higher rate. And they also, it's harder for them to pair bond with their husbands because they've had.
Well, my belief is that there's no such thing as peer bonding. Get out of my face. It's harder for them to get out of my face. No. Actually, the best rebut to this is you're a liar. First and foremost, actually, women who go to school and do well and marry at their economic level after universities actually stay in marriages longer than the so-called trad wives. That's actually the stat. That is actually the stat. Talking about some peer bonding. And where you get that stat from about peer bonding? Where did you get that stat from? See, the feminists do not investigate the statements from the anti-feminists, and it's annoying me.
Had so many past partners.
So pair bonding research is really not super strong, right? This idea of like oxytocin being released and stuff like that. The pair bonding is quite weak, evidentially. Like it's just increasingly becoming an unpopular.
Period. Oh, the thing is, have these other girls read anything? No. They heard some men talk about peer bonding and they took it hook, line, and sinker. The feminists, you can tell that they've done research, they have done work, and they're thinking deeply about this stuff, which is probably why it's so difficult for them to not over-explain a lot of the things, right? And they don't give these anti-feminists enough time to speak because they've recognized that the anti-feminists don't really have anything to say. Unfortunately for the feminists, this is a program on the internet that people are watching, and you need to let them talk to show how dumb they are. Like you do actually need to have you should say, where did you learn about peer bonding? What is peer bonding? What does research say about peer bonding? Ask them question. Do not explain it to them. Ask them and let them sit up there and be like, oh. And then start rapping. I get it, crack it like a bad bat. Talking to the queen when she's looking like a. Let me stop. Oh, I forgot. Girl, Nicki Minaj, girl, why are you going to do some foolishness like that? Ugh. Like you're literally a huge part of my vocabulary. I don't like this. Whenever I'm trying to have fun on YouTube and talk, the best way to do that is to like attach like a music. But all the music I know, Keela told me that I need to get into Megan Thee Stallion. So maybe I can come back with some Megan Thee Stallion lyrics. It's going to take me a couple of years to learn.
Around sex and sexual bonding, right? It seems like intimacy and closeness over time predicts closeness rather than these sort of things. I guess to kind of speak to the
yeah, peer bonding, sync completed with your oppressor. So Stockholm syndrome. Got it. The Stockholm syndrome. Got it.
shame piece more directly. Being Christian as well, there is immeasurable amounts of sexual shame in the church. So guilt, when you're talking about repentance, guilt drives behavioral change. Shame doesn't. Shame drives lying and closing down and not talking to others. If you look at the rates, for example, of vaginismus, if you guys don't know what that is, it's when sex and any form of penetration is exceptionally painful for a woman. It is 3 times higher in religious groups. As a woman who's been married, I'm married for 8 years. I only have a body count of 1, came from a very Christian background. My Christian background and the tying of sexual.
Why did you announce that? Why did you announce that? Because even when she's like advocating, like the exception she makes for herself and the position she makes for herself and the attempt at legitimacy that she just gave herself highlights that even for her, body count matters, right? And so the idea that you are positioning yourself in this way feels odd to do because it's very clearly that you have another opinion. I know they match you only one. Oh yeah. Oh, the anti-feminists are sure. She shouldn't have done it. Let me be very clear. But I know they mad. Because I'm pretty sure they thought all these girls were out there zipping it and doing it.
Shame that was there was so hard on my marriage. And in fact, if you talk to a lot of religious women, they're going to tell you this, right? A lot of my friends, for example, say, my virginity was so tied to my value that when I lost it to my husband, I thought I was dirty, right? Look at the rates of orgasm amongst religious married women. So shame in general, when it comes to sexuality, seems mostly just to lead to worse outcomes.
The assumption she's making here is that these women care about other women's pleasure. That's the assumption she's making, and she is wrong. She is wrong. If you ask them directly if women's pleasure sexually matters, they might actually admit that it does not to them. Women, they're telling women to not leave marriages and women shouldn't be divorcing men. They do not care about women and their well-being. I don't know what she's doing, girl. Hang it up. Flat screen. There I go again. I have to check myself every time. I have to rewire my brain to not do what I do with the Nicki lyrics.
Conversations about impulsivity, right? About choosing who your partner is more wisely. I'm actually open to those conversations. The issue is that when we shame people for their body count, it's disproportionately women, right? If you look at these, and I agree that you're consistent, it's both for you. Look at these red pill podcasts. All they want to do is get their body count up and shame women for giving them that body count, right? This leads to worse relationships.
What is a high body count? I'm curious. What's the number? What's the number?
I don't think it's necessarily a number. I think it's more so the
They're so deceptive. They're so deceptive. It's so bad. You know there is a number. You know there is a number. What is the number? Good question. Put them on the spot. Do not let them go. Okay, you don't have a number. What do you mean it's not necessarily a number? So if I have 1,000 people, you won't say that's enough. Yeah, you will. So there is a number. Don't play in my face. If you think high body count matters and people should be shamed for high body count, you have an idea of what a high body count is. Let's go. Let's do it. Because I'm going to ask you your body count in a minute. It is going to be a question. Yes, it will be. While you're sitting up here putting judgment on people, I'm going to ask you your body count. And if I'm this girl who only has one, if I am her who has one, everyone getting shamed. Everyone on the anti-feminist is about to feel that shame. You better hope it's 0 or 1 because you're getting dragged. If I am her and I only have my husband, everyone getting dragged. Everyone, you are going to feel the shame that you want to impose on people, and I would do it immediately. Without fail, you getting dragged. If it's 2, it's too many. If it's 2 and you're not married, it's too many. If it's 2 and you're married and 1 is your husband, it is 1 too many. You're getting dragged, and I'm going to shame you for it. I'm going to tell you how disgusting that is. I don't believe that, by the way. But if I only had 1, oh, girl. Just walk down the street while I'm ringing the bell behind you. Shame. Shame. Call yourself Cersei and cut your hair, girl. We're going down the street with the bell.
Idea of sleeping around for no reason and not having
Well, there's definitely a
any
reason.
commitment.
I know, right?
Sure. And I would actually agree with the shame part in religion. I think purity culture can be very dangerous. It's seen as more of a sin than anything else, and it's very damaging to women. And we see this even in marriages. Like you said, women still think sex is a sin in their marriage. I think that's a problem. So I think it's not so much I don't think we need to bring back shame to women. I think it's more so that being sexual and being promiscuous shouldn't be celebrated as much in our culture as it is.
Sure, but the prompt was specifically, is it more shameful, right? And you guys said, yes, that is necessarily bringing more shame to women for this. Yeah. That's necessarily doing the thing you're opposed to.
Okay, well, I mean, I have a yes or no. So I'm not going to say no because I don't think that being sexually promiscuous is good for anyone. So that's why I said. That wasn't the prompt.
Okay. So.
And knowing them, well, the story ended with Cersei dying under some rocks. So actually, it didn't end that way. But the people who did do the shaming, well, that fire was blazing. What's her name? Marjorie, the Marjorie girl, tried to help them. They said absolutely not, and they got blown up.
I want to chime in here and say that I grew up in a very conservative religion that shamed you for.
Yeah, that wasn't a prompt either, but yeah.
Or any type of sex outside of marriage. What did that lead to? What did shaming people about body count lead to in that kind of religious situation? People lied about it. Here's the natural truth about humans. All of us have sex, even when we pretend we don't have sex. We are all still.
Side note, me too. When I say Marge played the Hell out of Cersei, she played, girl, she had that degenerate. Marge had that Cersei degenerate wrapped around her fingers. She had that psychopathic idiot wrapped around her finger. She had the whole kingdom wrapped around her finger. I absolutely adored the way she used control, manipulated. The way she used power was beautiful. Beautiful. And not only was it beautiful, like the reason she died is because them idiots did not listen to her when she was like, Cersei is not here. Something is wrong. We need to go now. And they trapped her in and they all died. But she ate them up.
Having sex. I don't care if it's the 1950s or it's 2025. Every person is having sex. That's just the reality of it. Some people want to have sex less than others. Some people want to have sex more than others. And none of that is about who they are morally as a person. I am a person who happens to consider myself to be hypersexual. It's just part of who I am. It's always been part of who I am. And when I was 14, growing up in a very religious...
Your colleague, is this colleague a man? I will be looking for your answer down in the chat. Is this colleague a man? Talking about you and your colleague gonna be watching gaming. Is this colleague a man? I'm looking at creative life. I'm looking for your response in the comments.
This church that told me that who I was as a person was bad. That was really harmful for me as a person. I was depressed as a child. I was on antidepressants. I thought something was broken in myself. And when I finally left that religion and the shackles of the shame that had been placed on me by the patriarchy in that religion, I realized there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just this type of person. And here's the deal. People who like to have sex with a lot of people, we like to date other people who like to have sex with a lot of people. And people who don't like to have sex with a lot of people should date people who don't have sex with a lot of people. And it doesn't say anything about who they are as a person or their value as a human being or how good they are or how bad they are. It means nothing. It means nothing. It's just a bodily function that most people...
They don't know how to stop. They don't know how to stop. It feels like they're literally trying to convince these women to come over to the feminist side. That's not going to happen. So just dog walk and go home.
End up doing. And that's how I feel about sex, sexuality. And if you want to get your freak on, get it on. And if you don't, keep it locked up in a chastity cage. I literally don't care. But it doesn't mean anything about you morally.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think a lot of people are using their personal experiences to define their reality. So,
okay, that's wild. That's a dumb statement. Of course, people use their personal beliefs to define their reality. Yes, that's what subjectivity is. The issue is, in this debate, the anti-feminists have been using their personal experiences, their anecdotes to make judgments and make prescriptions for society without engaging in any of the stats. Not one of the people on the anti-feminist side have brought up a single stat or any kind of study to validate anything they're saying. Actually, the person who did the most speaking told you first and foremost that she don't care nothing about a stat. All she care about is God and Christianity. And she's not about to engage with no stat. She gonna tell you about a soul bond and a spiritual bond and Jezebel and spirits and demons and these people don't care. So it's wild for you to come up here after what the anti-feminists have been doing this entire time to say oh, y'all using your personal experience. No, actually, the anti-feminists have been doing a very good job of taking their personal experience as an anecdote and adding it to a broader statement about the world based on statistics. That's what the feminists did. The anti-feminists have not. The anti-feminists are just there on hopes and vibes. The anti-feminists are just there on vibes and hopes, girl, and telling you that they dress well. They dress well.
you say like you grew up religious, they told you don't do this, so obviously you're going to do the exact opposite.
That's not why I am who I am.
But I'm just saying.
I just like getting freaky.
Sure, there could be a middle ground there though. Like I think having multiple sex partners, like loosely having sex with different men, not only is it dangerous because you can catch STDs, this is why you guys are having abortions, this is why, you're not desired. It's a lot of...
This is why you're not desired is insane. I don't know who this woman thinks she's talking to. I am so sorry. I am legit so sorry. In a world that prioritizes whiteness in the way that it does, for her to sit up there and look at them and tell them that you don't see these men with these... Oh my God, I was going to say throw B-A-C-K, and that's not okay. That is not okay to say for me. But girl, look at the Who They Really... Sin, give me that documentary, the Who They Really Choose series, girl. Because these women out here playing games. That's why no one wants y'all is wild. With no ring on your finger. You're talking to at least 2 married women over there, and you got no ring on your finger talking about this is why no man. The feminist just told you she's been married for 7, 8 years. And you sitting up there talking about that's why no one wants y'all. Are you dumb?
Things that is happening.
I mean, I would say the amount of sex partners I have would indicate I am desired. I mean, that seems like the opposite.
Period, girl. To be fair, because you just pointed out, this is the same person earlier who pointed out that a man will sleep with anyone. Either her or Pink here said that. Because someone want to sleep with you does not actually mean that they desire you. But point taken.
But men value women that they marry, not women that they have sex with. So women that they have sex with is usually just a throwaway.
But again, men who like to have sex like to be with women who like to have sex. So they actually just partner together. Like that's the reality.
I would disagree.
They just partner together.
I just personally feel like you guys probably don't ever listen to men. Men like women with a low body count. You could just listen to them and they'll tell you this out of their mouth. You don't have to go looking for this.
Okay, you can go marry a man who like a low body count. Just know he cheated on you. Just go ahead. All these women in the church getting cheated on every single day. Y'all sitting up there talking about some men want women with a low body count while they have a high body count and out there cheating. Cool for you, girl. Good luck.
But again, this is the conversation. The men I like to date are like me. And they like to have lots of partners because we are good in bed and we're experienced.
But you guys are always
and those men want to have a woman who they own their virginity.
You're always speaking for the exception and not the rule, though. Why?
No, you don't know what the rule is. Where did you get that stat? Where did you get the stat that men want women with low body count? Where did you get that from? You didn't. You just made that up. You heard some dusty man in the manosphere talking about it and you accepted it. These men don't have choices. Have you not seen the single man epidemic? These men don't have choices, girl. The fact that y'all think men have a bunch of choices out here while they're unaliving themselves from loneliness is wild. No, they do not have choices. That's what's pissing them off. They cannot get women to submit and do what they want because women are out here living their best lives. It's not that great for everyone, but women are out here being able to provide for themselves. Women have options, and the options include being single in a way that men can't be single. It seems. They're calling it an epidemic, girl. A whole epidemic happening out here. You talk about men saying they don't want this and they don't want that. Well, if you don't have anything to bargain with at the table, girl, you don't got a bat now. You don't got a bat now. You don't have a walkaway point. You just there begging. At that point, it's not a negotiation. It's a begging. I'm joking. I mean, I'm not, but.
Why do you guys in all of your arguments today, you represented the exception and not the rule?
I'm asking why do men prefer women with lower body counts? Is it just a name,
because
or is
these
there
are
a
the
reason?
women that have to bear their children.
Ignorance is bliss, and they don't want to be
These are the women
compared.
that have to bear their children.
Oh, you guys seem to have a problem a little bit with men, like just comments that you're making, but yet you.
I have no problem with men. I'm straight.
Well,
I love men.
I just heard like multiple just negative comments about.
Girl, shut up. The girl said she got no problem with men. What's your problem? I ain't think you're gonna problem with men. Even if she did got a problem, she ain't got no problem getting a man. So whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. Your soft feminine self who love men getting a man and she getting a man and everyone getting a man, girl. Men are out here for free. Men Girl, men are the easiest thing to get. Y'all over there working so hard to be fit, feminine, and friendly. And these men are out here for everyone. Not batting. So, someone's looking. Girl!
men. Like
You
they
do
could put
realize
their.
that men are responsible for 90% of the violent crime.
But you're sleeping with them, many of them.
Yeah,
so
but
do you
we
like?
still, we still love men.
90% of the violent crime, that still does not represent all men. That still would be
Exactly.
the
That's my point,
minority
though, is
of
that it
men.
doesn't
So
represent
men
all
are
men. None of us
awesome. Men
are
are great. They
against-
protect you just like they
We're not
assault.
Men commit 90% of the violent crimes. Her response, but that's not all men. They protect you. They commit upwards of 90% of the violent crime. Why is your response that it's not all men and they protect you? They're committing the crimes. They're protecting you from other men. How are they causing the problem that they're solving for? And you talking about the fact that they're solving for the problem they create. And by they, I mean we, but I don't want to include myself in that degeneracy. Like, what do you mean?
Women, they protect women. They fight wars so you don't have to.
Well, women fight wars too, so they didn't do it so women don't have to. Actually, women are fighting wars. So whoopsie, bad analogy. That's just trash analysis. I mean, to be fair, whenever she speaks at the end, I don't look for good analysis. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to be good.
Men, they protect you from generally another man. So enough with that.
Okay, that is protecting whom?
But I'm saying
everybody's
I'm not against men.
Okay, but
You
they're
literally
doing
just
it
put
to
words in my
protect
mouth
their.
saying, "Oh, I'm anti-man." I'm not.
I didn't say you were
straight.
anti-man.
Mind you, we were slaves. So I don't know which man she's saying protected whom. I don't know which man she's saying protecting who. We went through 400 years of slavery. We went through Jim Crow, the Civil Rights Movement. We're still being subjugated. They would agree to that. Which man are you talking about? Be very specific. The men who protect whom? Like, which men are we talking about? Who are protecting who now, girl? Because a lot of these men can't even protect themselves. We can't protect ourselves. We were slaves, girl. I don't know where you were. We were slaves, so I don't know where the protection was.
A lot of them.
I didn't say you
No,
were
I'm serious.
anti-man.
I'm
pretty
so
sure
tired
that
of
we
feminists
all
being labeled
love
as
men.
anti-man. We're not. In fact, I think feminists help men because we're trying to relieve a little bit of pressure off of them. Like,
But they're
I'm
not asking for that. They would rather you just respect them. They would just rather respect. They don't care about none
Just
of the
because we
things
don't
you have
worship
to
men
offer.
doesn't mean that we don't like them.
Oh, period. She just called them a male worshiper. Finally. There we go. Respect is something that is earned, by the way. I don't just go around giving out respect to people who are disrespectful and absolutely useless.
I don't put them on a pedestal. I don't treat them like they're princes.
should
I'm not
be
like,
on a
oh, what great,
pedestal.
amazing
They
dudes.
are awesome.
I like men just fine. I'm unfortunately straight too.
Question on this side, for especially for those of you who love men, right?
Yeah.
Also, why would you say you love men? Like, why would you ever, like, ain't nobody trying to say none of that. Just like, whatever, you still deal with men and whatever. Our VP added couch to his body counts.
Right. What can you tell me something you love about men?
No, absolutely not. See, I knew I didn't like that host. I knew I did not like that host. Why would you put them in that position? No, absolutely not. I will not. I hope they decline. I hope they decline. I hope they decline. I would decline to answer that question. I would say it is an individual basis, and I do not ever talk about a character of manhood so generally. What do you mean? I do it on an individual basis. I like people who are smart. If a man is smart, then I like him for his intelligence. I like people who are kind. If a man is kind, I like him for his kindness. So on and so forth. I'm not about to make a general statement about men, about things I like about men generally, where most men would not be able to provide that thing. Like, every man does not have the same kind of persona. Every man does not have the same height. Every man does not have the same character. You can't make that general statement. Absolutely not. Funny enough, you can do it for women. And so, like, women birth the world. So you can be like, I respect this. I like this about women because without women, I would not exist. Without men, I would not exist. But women literally, for the women who have children and want to have children, they literally brought life to the world, right? Like, so, like, I mean, even if you don't like it, you have to give credit for existing. Yeah, you have to give credit for existing. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, some of them have great sense of humor. Some of them are super helpful
Okay, I do like the qualifier. She said some of them, period.
and funny. And I mean, I like men the same reasons I like women. These are all just human traits. You're funny, you're smart.
Oh yeah, period. 8 down. Pink here, girl, 8. 8 that down. I like men for the same reason I like women. If they exhibit these traits, good. Period. I hope no one else says anything else about it. I feel bad for the lesbian here. The reason I feel bad for the lesbian is you can tell she's there in earnest, wanting to provide some kind of, I don't know, contribution in some way, but it failed, girl, and I'm sorry.
Good looking. You take care of me. I have girlfriends like that. I'm not, I
But
mean
we're not
girlfriends
talking
as
about
friends or girls.
We're talking because you said that a lot of people think feminists hate men. I want to know, without talking about women,
Okay.
only talking about men, what do you like about men? About their uniqueness.
No, there's nothing unique about men to love. Like, I don't know. There are individual men that provide individual characteristic that you appreciate and love for that individual person or group of people. Actually, I'm going to go after lady in the middle. Lady in the middle, what do you love about men generally? What do you love about men generally? Because anything you say about men generally will not apply to all men. It will not apply to all men. That is a weird and dusty question.
Of being, I'm asking the men lovers.
See, I guess I'm trying to think about what makes men unique, though, because like when I like a man, they're funny, they're smart, they're good looking. But I could describe a woman with these terms.
Okay, so
too.
you don't think that there are things about men that are unique necessarily?
Well, I mean, I'm born straight, so I can't say like I choose to be attracted to men. Like this is how I was born. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I can't tell you what that's about, but
Right.
I can say that I like men because they're funny, they're smart. Some of them, they can protect me some if I need to. Sometimes, like I understand why you like men, but I think you can all understand that they have traits that are not good, right? Like you have men you don't like, right? You know that not all men are great.
Of course.
Not all women.
And
Right. And so therefore the dusty question does not hold. If you like a trait about some men that other men do not have, you cannot take that trait and say, I like this about men. Are you dumb? Like, oh my God, these really informative conversations are so no, they're dusty and degenerate. And so are you and the platform, girl. Like a dusty degenerate. Like, why would you ever ask that question? Are you dumb?
I want to know what you like about men too, without
So
PG.
PG, right. So I would say a lot of my good friends are men. I think men are smart and funny, just like she was saying.
See, you have to qualify that because men aren't smart and funny. You have to qualify that.
I think that I'm sexually attracted to men. I think they're pretty much the exact same as women. But if I were choosing like to hang out with someone one-on-one, I'd probably pick a woman because I'd probably be safer because they probably wouldn't be trying to, I don't know, have sex with me as an ulterior motive.
Some women might, but like you didn't have to do that. Like, why would you ever go there? Just push back on the host question and say, girl, your question dumb. Ain't nobody have to answer your question. It is stupid. It's a dumb question. Next.
So it sounds like a lot of,
but I mean, I just don't see men as like a special category that they need to be worshipped in some separate way. Like, oh man.
Period. There you go. Thank you. Oh my God. Finally.
Men are really the reason why I'm here. I think the reason why I'm here is women. I tend to worship women more than men.
But don't you know that men allow you to have your rights? Because if it
Girl, shut up.
really came down to it, they can just overpower you and take all of your rights.
All right. So you admit men are violent and useless. Got it. Cool.
Actually, I have rights because of women. I have rights because women
You have
who
rights
came before
because
me.
of men.
No, I have rights.
No, you have rights because of men and women. Yeah. So, yeah, no.
Men and women. I'm here because of women.
Okay, and if they declare war on you because of your rights, what happens? You are
No, they cannot. If they declare war, if men declare war on women, the entire population ceases to exist. So that's not on that. That's not on that. Without women, there is no life. Without women, no life. Period. We're done. Case closed. Stop talking.
all die.
Okay, you're having a hypothetical conversation about
I'm
something
having
that
a
hasn't
real- a
happened.
very real
I'm having a real
conversation.
conversation about
This
the
is a
fact that
very
the
real
reason why
thing.
I'm able to vote is not because of men, but because of hard-working women.
And who allowed it? Who voted on it?
few good
Who
men.
allowed these
Yeah,
things
so
to happen?
good men.
Right, men, not a few.
Because
A lot of good men.
Yeah,
A lot of good men.
Hold on.
Someone need to drag her for what she's explaining right now. It's like the idea that you think that men can like outright violate women in terms of like causing a war, fighting them, dragging them, unaliving women, and there still is a population is wild.
Do you think there are no woman civilizations? Because men will take them down.
If you create gender into
There are no women civilization because men will take them down. Men are protectors. The same woman who went on a tirade about men being protectors is saying the reason there aren't any women civilization is because men will take them down. The protectors will take them down. These are liars, deceptors, weak, useless people. Ain't nobody got time. They don't make no sense. They do not make sense. Also, yeah, wish men grant rights because black men weren't granting rights to black women in America while we all were slaves, and in Jamaica, like, all the Western world, girl. Ain't nobody got time. Like, let's be very clear, because y'all made a distinction earlier about black versus white and blah blah blah. Let's do that distinction now. Did she thank a white man for her rights today? Yeah. Well, right, because if you use it and say, oh, so let's do slavery, let's do civil rights, white people grant us the ability to exist, and ignore the actual effort put forward by black people and everyone to have rights, right? You wouldn't do that. She would not do that. She would not apply the same analysis she's doing right now around race. She would not do it. Turtleneck would not do it.
class, then men are also pedophiles and rapists and criminals by your logic. You realize that, right?
Yes, but
Oh, period. There you go. There you go. There you go. Finally.
guess what? That is the
Yes.
minority
No.
of them.
I would say men are not rapists. Some men who are
The
bad
minority.
do
You
bad
heard
things.
the minority. Most men.
No, you said there aren't any women civilization because of men. You said it as a general statement would destroy it. You do not get to then retract that and say it's the minority. Because if it's a minority of men, the majority of men would prevent those men from attacking these women's civilization. Now, wouldn't they? You useless person. Throw me on that panel for 2 minutes. Let me drag for 2 minutes on that panel because we're not about to do that. We're not about to sit here and have you be dusty. We're going to test your theory.
That's what, no,
are
we're
not
not, because I am
criminals.
not treating gender like a class.
Right.
I understand that police officers and soldiers are more often men, but that doesn't mean that men who are not those things suddenly get to be like, actually, I'm doing forced doctrine too. No, you've got a small group of young men who are given fiat authority by a bunch of state men to enact rights that all of us agreed on. That's how democracy works. If you want to treat gender like a class, then you have to say men are soldiers and men are rapists. And I think this is not true. Some men are rapists and some men are soldiers.
Well, it just sounds like, I mean, like, so if a man tells you to do.
No, I am discussing specifically her response. What she's doing right now is, yes, absolutely useless for the advancement of women. It is useless. Oh, girl, I thought you said bye. I thought it said bye. My bad. I thought you were like, oh, no, so let me be very clear. I am talking, and while it's not, I am out by, let me say that when I'm talking about these people in the context of the conversation they're having. I do not know these people personally, right? I do this for men in the way that I do it for women. So I wanted to make that clear. But you were saying snaps, not by. But yeah.
Do something, you're gonna do it. Do you? I mean, are you a woman
if
who
he's
falls
my
in
husband,
line?
absolutely. Yes, I
If he's your
serve him.
husband,
I'm here to
if you said
serve.
if he's your husband, yeah, that makes sense. But let's talk about just some random ass man.
If a random man just asked me to do something,
That's what I'm saying. Like you
something
just a
like
minute
what?
ago said, like,
what?
oh, men, if they could come in and just do this, like they can take our rights from us. It's like, yeah, that's why we're here.
But
We're
that's
here
just to
make sure
show you
doesn't
that men
happen.
are not your
But you
enemy.
make it sound
That's
like
all
I'm supposed
saying.
to fall in line.
But you guys are, everything you're saying is because of the men, because of the patriarchy.
That's not what patriarchy
Men
doesn't
are
refer to men.
not
It
your
refers to a system.
enemy.
Yeah, no,
They're not-
patriarchy is a system.
I know, but
Okay.
I said because of the patriarchy. Men are not your enemy, is what I'm trying to say.
I don't
I'm
care.
saying that if men didn't want you to have rights, you wouldn't have them. That's what I'm telling you.
So they could be pieces of shit. Like
That just proves that
so
they're not
what?
pieces of shit because you have rights.
But how long have we?
The threat of force that this lady is using, I don't know that she understands what it means specifically in the context of the conversation she was just having about men would not allow women to have a civilization because they will destroy it. Right? That is no longer in her worldview a threat of force. That is using force to suppress women and their ability to create societies, right? Like you're talking about men inflicting harm. You don't get to then make it a threat only, because it is a threat. But even the fact that you're using this as a threat is wild. And no, men are not supposed to be the enemy, but patriarchy affects men and women in really bad ways. It just so happens that it destroys women more than it destroys men, I believe. Dr. Daff gets on my nerves. She used to make generic femininity content and speak in a fake soft baby voice. I can tell. As soon as I saw her, she was like, tell me what you love about men generally. No. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. I can tell you what I love. Like, even when you say, tell me what you love about women generally, I'm going to ask you what kind of women are you talking about? Specify. Specify. Because like it's wild to be like, oh, I love this about women generally. It's like, yes, this could be a general trait for women, but just know that not all women have that trait. In the same way that you could think this is a trait for men generally, knowing that not all men have these traits. So you can't say that. Ain't nobody got time.
All men are pieces
How
of
long
shit.
have we had them? How long?
I could say the same thing about black people.
About
I'm not over here
105
complaining
years
about
we've
being
had
black in America.
14 countries out of 190 countries, women actually have rights. And what those rights are, there's like a whole chart out of but only 14. Like if you go anywhere else in the world, your rights can be taken away just because.
That's not true. That statement is not true. I don't know what statement she was attempting to make. That the statement that there are only 14 countries where women have rights is wild. That's not a true statement. I don't know what she's talking about. I don't fully understand what she's saying. Whatever she just said is not true. Ain't nobody got time for her.
Because of the body you have. And like, we're very grateful to be in this country where we do have rights, but we've only had them for 105 years. We have to defend those rights against the bad men that are openly talking about repealing the 19th and like women should stay in the kitchen. Like, it's not all men. I have great men in my life. I love them. I just hung out with one of them last night, and it's like, they're so caring. I do love men. I just don't love all men. I hate abusive men. And good men know that when we're talking about them.
Can I ask one question? What would it take for you guys to no longer be feminists and to say, feminists, to say, hey, we have all equal rights now. We have.
You're dumb. I'm so sorry. That's a dumb question. Even if you have all rights, you have to protect against the taking away of those rights. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm done being feminist because I'm equal. No, I am still feminist because we need to protect the rights we got. What will it take? Nothing. Ain't nothing in this world can ever stop me from being feminist. That's not on that. Maybe if God come and say, stop being feminist, then I will stop. But barring that, it's going to always be up. It's up and it's stuck. Poor Themis, whenever Purple here talks, I know it's going to be frustrating. And the reason why her talking is particularly frustrating to me is I actually think we would be good friends. I think she seems like a sweet, kind soul. It's just not giving much in this debate. And you know me, I like a stud. I don't know if she could, I think she identifies as a stud. I like a stud, but it's not giving much.
Have everything we need. When does the movement stop? Because it seems like it never stops.
It's not going to stop because they now have already overturned Roe v. Wade. We've seen a right that we fought for and won taken back. So now we have to come back to the fight.
They overturned it to give it to the states, which means the people within those states can vote on how they want to do things.
Well, then it's not a right. If it can be stopped at an invisible line, then it's not a right anymore.
It was
And that's
never
why we're
supposed
here
to be
fighting
there
for
in
those
the
rights.
first.
Brianna, get out of my face. I could have sworn she said she was a stud. My bad if she didn't. She said she was the most masculine one up there and that she a stud. So I could have dropped this. It could be not true, but it could not. It could be a falsehood. Yeah.
Place. It was never. It's not in the Constitution. It was never supposed to be there in the first place.
Neither was the women's right to vote or anything else. Like,
I personally, very controversial.
That's not true. That is not true. That is not true. This one, the one sitting like this one right here. This one. Why y'all pretending y'all don't know which one I'm talking about? She literally said, I am the most masculine one up here. I am a stud. Y'all need to stop asking which one. We're not doing this. Y'all playing in my face.
I don't think women should vote because we get women like this that say all of these crazy things.
You don't vote then, right?
No, I do vote.
Why? Lead by example. This is what I'm saying. You're all here using your voice to tell me that you don't want one.
I have to combat women like.
No. Wait. No. She did. It wasn't in this video. We did a part one. And she said, she was a stud and that she's the most masculine one up there. And she said she's very masculine and she was like, how should I be feminine when I'm masculine or something like that? And I remember this. No, it happened because I was like, why would you describe yourself as masculine? You like, there's no masculine or feminine, right? Like you just showed up and you like what you like and do what you do and dip what you dip and do what you do. Like that's what I said. I remember that specifically. I remember that. Let me not put an S on it. Specifically. Y'all not going to. Y'all not. Y'all not about to drag me in this chat and pretend like I just made that up and project that onto someone. I would never do such a thing.
you, so I have to vote.
No,
I
you're
have to
using
vote,
your
'cause you
voice
guys
to
are
tell me you
always
don't
on
want
the
a
wrong
voice,
side
so
of
go
issues.
home.
That's why men are more logical, because you guys are always on the wrong side of issues. That's what it is. You don't even know why you're doing the things that you're doing. You just do things and then you blame men.
Let me tell you, let me tell this, like, I'm going to say this right now, and I hope this gets on camera, and let me say this. Being on the side of a woman's right to vote is never the wrong side of an issue.
Period. Period. I don't know why y'all getting emotional, why these people blowing like hot air, but period.
Every person here is a human being. Voting is a human right. I won't sit here and have a conversation about repealing human rights and pretend that that's a normal conversation to be having. Women deserve the right to vote because we are human beings. We deserve to be treated like humans, and we are not more emotional than men. When a man throws a remote at a television and breaks it after a football game, then have a conversation with me about who's more emotional.
The other thing, though, about the voting thing, though, for me, is that this country was founded because of taxation without representation. And so if women don't vote, then I'm not going to pay then we shouldn't pay taxes, right? Because that's taxation without.
Period. Period. Okay, I like it. I kind of like the way. Okay, bleach blonde clipped hair, necktie thing, situation, collar situation. What she said is right. I'm fully on board. It is what it is. Yeah, human rights. We blah blah blah. Pink hair. I prefer pink hair's analysis. Pink hair. Period. Period. Okay, fine. The country was founded on this idea that you cannot have taxation without representation. Therefore, if we don't have the right to vote, we should not be paying taxes. I feel like that's a good. Period. Pink here. Pinky girl, I got you. For a black woman to be arguing this is diabolical. Girl. For the black women on here to be arguing that women should not be going to school, women should not get jobs, women should not be doctors, women should not be MDs, that is insane. And mind you, she's in here, so I won't say her name. But there's this beautiful doctor online that is giving everything that needs to be gave in all of her posts. I don't agree with her politically, but her post gives me life, and she's out here zipping it and zooing it and looking good while zipping it and zooing it. And I go to look on her page every now and then to make sure that like my nerves are calm because she eating every time. And y'all telling me that girl shouldn't be able to go get her degree and live her best life? Oh, you done lost your mind. For a black woman to be arguing this is diabolical. Yeah, sure is. Absolutely sure is. Mind you, I do not label myself a feminist, but I do think the feminists on the panel are making more sense. They are not super extreme. Not at all. They're not extreme at all. They're not extreme at all. These anti-feminist women are weird. They are weirdos. They want you to worship men, and that's wild.
Representation.
Yeah, you don't have to work either. That's the point. Your man will pay the taxes. That is exactly the point. You won't work. What world?
Okay.
I don't know.
I actually wanted to answer your question. You asked about body count, coming back to body count, which was the last prompt. And you said, why do men want a woman with a low body count? And the answer is because we're not equal. And again, this is going to always be the fallacy and the flaw with feminism because you're going to be fighting for an equality that does not exist.
Period. And then we keep fighting. It don't matter. You can believe it don't exist, blah, 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 blah. Period. Still fighting for it. And what about it? They're going to stay lonely if they continue that way. So it sounds like a them problem. Can women have good, fulfilling life without men? Yes. It don't look like the men can. It don't look like the men can. So unless they're going to override this innate difference that you're talking about regarding their access to sex and wanting to have sex while also wanting women to be pure and not have any kind of sexual partner when they get together. I don't know who they're going to be having sex with. If women aren't going to have sex and men aren't, are they sleeping with each other? No, they're sleeping with women. So if you want a woman that hasn't had sex, it sounds like you're out of luck, girl. Ain't nobody got time for that. Mind you, her husband divorced her. Let me leave that alone.
I'm not saying better or worse. I'm saying we are different. Now, it depends on what you want intimacy for. If you want to be
Ask the cop if your black sons are equal yet. Ain't nobody playing with you, girl. We're not playing with you. I'm not playing with you.
out there doing it with everybody, you absolutely have your right to do that. Please be loud and proud. We want to see you coming. The men love women like that to have fun with. However, when you talk about
Girl, you are divorced. That man up and left you. By the way, my personal beliefs about this is nothing is wrong with that. But the fact that you know how to keep a man, you know how to get a man, you are chaste, you are God-fearing, you're all of that, your man still left. Sir, that's that on that. Maybe you learned the lesson too late, girl. Go bag you a new one. Go bag you a new husband and then come back and talk to us. It's so obvious that the anti are afraid of men. Yeah. Girl, yeah, she divorced. She divorced with 2 kids, girl. Nothing is wrong with this based on my worldview. On their worldview, she failed. Based on their worldview, she failed. So that's that on that. On my worldview, it's fine. Ain't nobody got time. On what based on her worldview, she failed. So that.
love, when you talk about marriage, when you talk about a committed relationship, most of us, when you get to your old
Yeah, no, this will be up. I don't think I said anything outrageous, so I'll leave this up. So let me clarify something. My Friday live streams are generally up for the public. Whenever I go live any other time, that's usually for members only. But there are some that like it's not just me kikiing. So like this one is one that I think has merit and value publicly. So I will probably leave it public.
age, usually you have one, if you're lucky, like me, 2 great loves. You don't think about the string of casual sex that has been promoted and think of that like, man, I really got it all in. Most of us don't. You're free to do that if you want to, but I'm just saying, as we age, what's going to really matter is the relationships, the marriages, the families, the relationships that meant something.
Good luck on your exam.
The intimacy that meant something. You can do as much as you want to with whoever you want to, but I do agree the way casual sex is promoted now, it is hurting us. It may be fun in the moment, but it's going to hurt us and we're all going to pay the price for it.
Thank you so much for being here and sharing. This was a really interesting discussion. I thank you for your voices and your
I actually agree. I think that the way men have been having casual sex might be a problem because the whole super spreader thing is a problem. Like even women in marriages who are faithful are popping up with all kinds of STD where neither them or their man had an STD before the marriage, and somehow after the marriage they're popping up with STD. That's wild. So I do think there's a casualness to sex, particularly for men and even men in relationships that we need to talk about at some point, but to each their own. You like it, I love it. And that's that on that. There are 401 of y'all in here. Please like the video before you go. I appreciate that so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful night, and I'm going to go into the after show. By the way, Patty, you've been MIA. How have you been? No one divorced would give me that lecture. She calling those guys only good for fun, while men seek marriage with women like her, but her man sought those women while married. Mind you, the man sought marriage with her and then left her. Ain't nobody got time for that, the dusty arrangement. Left her after 2 kids too. You're up there lecturing me when a man left you with 2 kids. You're lecturing me about what men want and good men and don't be the man people want to, the woman men want to have fun with and not marry. He married you, had 2 kids with you, and then left you. So that's that on that. I'm going to say everything you said is void, null and void. What did I wanted to update you guys on? I will be trying. The last time I said this, people were like confused, like, how are you going to do this? I'm trying to work out in the morning. So, right after my workout, I'll come and do my book review and I'll post that for members only. That's what I'm going to do. No edits. There will be no edits because I have to work. Anyway, have a wonderful night. I'm going to try to come live a lot more because I do like coming live, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.